future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even know where to begin. If I allow myself to dream, will it be as good as it seems? Pull me out of this place in the middle, and
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, it's so good to see y'all today. I don't know if y'all saw that, but there's a video out of Sebastian on his last day, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I need to calm down because I saw some people just tearing Katie apart and analyzing her every breath. Like if she farted and it blew northwest by west, they would have something to say. So I'm going to take a day to calm down, and me and Zio are going to talk about that tomorrow. I can't even with these people. I'm so frustrated. Let me say hey to y'all real quick. Hey, Zio and Zan and Bad Girl and Toxic and Sarah. Excuse me. And Queen Olive Ruth Ann and Jenny Jim, my love. Toxic again and Bad Girl and Darlene again and Jenny Jen again. Thank y'all so much for being here. I apologize that I came on later than usual today. I got up and I went to the farmer's market. I didn't sell much, but it was too cold. Barely anybody showed up. So I don't know that I'm going to do that again right now until it warms up anyway, at least. So I dropped the link. I'm going to pull this up. We're going to go over the prosecution questioning Alieen Wuronos. This trial, I think it's 1991 or 1992. I'm going to play some music in the background. Let me get you up here. I think you're up.
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to say thank you for what you said to me. You are so sweet. And a lot of times I don't know how to take kindness and nice words like that. So I really want to tell you thank you. And that was really sweet of you.
You have no idea what it means to me. You have no idea what it means to me. I'm so grateful to you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And you did that. It wasn't me, girl. Oh, goodness. Okay.
Let me see. I think I'm live on my channel. Let me go look. I can't wait to
Okay.
stream this over here. Yeah, I am super, super upset about some of the things that I saw yesterday. And I did get a chance to sit in a really awesome chat and hear some really raw comments from when it came out. And I want to share some of my mindset on that. And I'm really looking forward to being able to talk it through with you and all of the people that we care about here. Because as much as I like to stay away from the drama in true crime, sometimes the drama finds you and sometimes you have to address it. And I feel
Yeah.
like it's necessary to talk about it because missing children are kind of my, it's my crux. I just don't want to make it seem like I don't care by not addressing it, but I don't want to address it on Sebastian Rogers' 17th birthday or 16th birthday when he should be home. So,
I'm not going to do it today, but yeah, I got some things to say and I'm working on clips. I'm furious. I'm so hot. But anyway, on to today. Today we're going to again go over the prosecution of Alieen Wuronos, and then tomorrow we'll talk about that stuff. Seeing what y'all are saying in comments. Thank you for being up here with me, Zio, and dual streaming with me.
yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so this is going to be the prosecution questioning Alieen Wuronos from when she was on trial for Mallory, for the unaliving of Mallory. So yesterday, the defense questioned her, which was her team, and now the prosecution is going to question her. I thought they might talk for a minute first, so I was trying to skip it ahead, but it doesn't look like they do, so trying to get it back to the beginning. Oh, let me turn on some music so I don't get in trouble. This is from Court TV, the court archives. So I do have to play music in the background of this. If we start talking, I try to stop it. Hold on just a minute. And let me put a banner up. All right. Hopefully it will work. Yeah, Toxic. My husband said I need to just stop watching it, but yeah, I don't know. It was hard. Anyway, thank you guys. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start this.
Yes.
You didn't make one mention of an anal rape or being tied up or having alcohol squirted in your rectum, did you, during that tape?
Okay, so they get right in. This is going to be a trigger warning. I want to make sure this isn't like part 2 of the prosecution real quick. Hold on just a minute. Sorry. I think we did the first one where she was right here. Yeah, that was the one we watched yesterday, I do believe. So this has got to be part 2. All right, sorry. They just jump right in, so heavy trigger warning.
Ms. Wuronos, you were in the courtroom yesterday when the videotape of your statement about Richard Mallory was played, weren't you?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You saw it in its entirety, didn't you?
Yes.
You didn't make one mention of an anal rape or being tied up or having alcohol squirted in your rectum, did you, during that tape?
I told you that he was getting violent, and also I told you before in the first confession that he was talking about anal squirting.
Did you, in fact, did you see anywhere in that videotape, or did you tell Detective Corzepa at any time that you were strangled with a cord by Mr. Mallory?
Well, every time I tried to start telling you or him about what was happening, he'd interrupt me and ask me how many times was this person shot? What kind of items did you take? Did he say anything when you shot him? Where did you leave his car? I never got a chance to ever express myself.
Well,
I was always interrupted.
So
she's already getting a little frustrated from what I'm hearing. So you can let me know if you want me to pause so you can talk or anything, let me know.
No, you're doing just fine. I'm just glad we changed that music. I was about to flip out. Much better.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what kind of music to play in the background that's better.
This is much better.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, let me know if you want me to pause. She's already getting frustrated from what I'm seeing. I think we're going to see when she's a little angry or frustrated this time. So that's going to give us more insight to her personality.
Well, now they're challenging her, right?
Right.
So.
Yep.
Say the reason you didn't say it then is because you're being interrupted.
Pardon?
You just were cut off. You didn't have a chance to tell.
Exactly.
Before Detective Corzepa began the interview with, he said he wanted you to tell him all the facts and circumstances surrounding the Mallory killing, didn't he?
I don't even recall him saying that.
You don't recall him saying that?
No.
Well, what did you think your purpose was when you were sitting there telling him about the Mallory case?
My main purpose was there to confess about Tyra's innocence, and that was all. I didn't have any, I couldn't, there was no way that I could have even remember. I was hysterical, a shock, and they had forced me to talk, saying that they're going to arrest Tyra Moore if I don't answer their questions on the case, which I didn't want. I was only there to confess about Tyra's innocence because I just got done talking to her on the phone and told her I was going to confess to clear her. I didn't know I was going to have to talk about anything because of that. If I did, believe me, I couldn't remember nothing because I was totally out of it.
Oh, well, it wasn't because the detective cut you off, and now you're saying it was because you were totally out of it.
So my issue is that if you're being questioned, Hopefully it'll be okay like that. If you're being questioned, yeah, you're supposed to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth to help you God. But like, would she have felt comfortable in a room full of men telling them a story like that? She's talking about it to clear Tyra. Like, did she just go in and say, yep, I did it and lock me up? Or I don't know. I don't like the fact that she didn't give that information. But I mean, I'm sure she was uncomfortable with giving that information, but it does make me question things because she should have known to give the information. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for being here.
Which was it?
Because they cut me off and because I couldn't remember.
Oh, it's because you couldn't remember.
I couldn't remember at all. A lot of things I couldn't remember. I mean, I wouldn't be able to get completely like I just said today.
I mean, you could remember being anally raped if you've been anally raped, couldn't you?
I wasn't even interested in telling them certain things because I was interested in Tyra Moore, and I was mad that they have threatened me that if I don't talk to them, they were going to arrest Tyra Moore. So I was pretty well belligerent and stubborn, as well as just saying, well, I'm just here to confess about Tyra. I'm not here to confess about the murders because I just trying to clear you that there's not two women, there's one woman.
All right, now, as I understand it, you didn't tell about the anal rape and the alcohol. Let me finish. You didn't understand about the anal rape and the alcohol. You didn't talk about that and the tying up because the detective cut you off.
That's right.
Or you didn't tell them because you forgot about it. Or you didn't tell them because
There's
you didn't
no or.
Well, that's two of the
It's
reasons.
all together.
The third reason you gave.
She was drinking, but I mean, to be fair, she didn't say anything, and that makes me question it because she should have told everything that happened if she's trying to claim self-defense. Toxic, I'm gonna try. I tried to turn it down some, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. I'll try to turn it down a little bit more. Hey, Andy, thank you for being here. Darlene said, I understand your frustration about the Sebastian Rogers case. People are still bashing John Benet Ramsey's parents, even with the new documentary. Yeah. And thank you for letting me know, Zaya, about the dual streaming. Zan said, men have been gaslighting women from the beginning of time. And Jenny, yeah, if you got a way for them to send you money to try to help out, let them know. I know I asked you in email, and I think you said you didn't have a way, but if you do, please drop it.
Dan, don't be that way. I gaslight my husband all the time. Stop it, girl. You know we gaslight our husbands too.
Yeah, I kind of gaslight mine too a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, we both, everybody does it. It's not, I wouldn't say, hey, it's fun, let's go have fun and let's gaslight, but we do it. Everybody does it.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely do. Jenny said that they do have a GoFundMe if you guys wanted to send money to her. If you can, I don't know if you can link it, but I don't know, maybe type it. You can drop a link in chat because you're a mod. If not, try to type it out so people can look it up and try to help you out with that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get back to this. I tried to turn it down some. I'm sorry it was so loud.
It was now because you were just there to talk about Ty Moore and you were stubborn.
There was a lot of reasons.
Well, how about the rest of
The
them?
reasons are, I'm there to confess that Tyra Moore is innocent, she knows pretty much, which was a flat out lie because I loved her so much I was protecting her.
Well, are you lying to protect her today?
Oh, I'll be more than happy to explain that Tyra Moore knows more than she's saying and that she knows it's self-defense.
Are you lying to protect her?
Oh, so now there we go. She's admitted on the stand that Tyra did know more about it. That's interesting because, again, to hear Tyra tell it, she didn't know anything about it. She didn't want to hear about it. She didn't like when Alieen talked about what was going on and what she did at work and all of the things. But now to hear her tell it on the stand, she's saying Tyra Moore absolutely knows more and that she knows for 100% fact it was self-defense. That's interesting.
Protect her today?
No, I'm not. I will tell you all about Tyra Moore.
All right, you said, and let me be sure we have the reasons correct. You said you didn't tell the detective because he cut you off and you didn't have a chance. And or you didn't tell the detective because you couldn't remember it. And or you didn't tell the detective because you're stubborn and you're protecting.
I couldn't remember.
Finish the question, Ms. Wuronos. And you didn't tell the detective because you were stubborn and trying to protect Tyra Moore. Were there any other reasons you didn't tell the detective?
I couldn't remember because I was in a state of shock of Tyra, thinking about Tyra. I told you over and over and over and over again, I'm only here to confess for Tyra. I'm only here to confess for Tyra. And I was totally focused on Tyra. When they asked me a question, when I started to get in the nitty-gritty to explain what happened, they always cut me off and asked me then other questions like how many times was he shot? What kind of items did you take? And when I was starting to get where my memory was going, okay, even if I tried.
So remember, I mean, she was probably drinking heavily during the time that she was confessing as well. Hey, Just Julie, yeah, we've talked about that. I think this is the third or fourth day we've been doing a deep dive on her. I think it's the fourth day we've done a really good deep dive on Alieen and the story. So yeah, her childhood was horrible. Hey Abellis, thank you for being here. Toxic said, of course Tyra did. Alieen told Ty a lot of stuff just to mention Tyra ain't stupid either. Yeah. And the prosecution, somebody said earlier, the prosecution is trying to make her angry. So, and you can tell it's working. Yeah, it is a compound question, and the attorney should have objected. I agree, Dan.
But then I wasn't really into the mood to talk about the cases, so that's why I couldn't remember, because I was thinking about Tyra. And I was mad that they had forced me into talking about the cases when I only want to talk to them about Tyra Jolene Moore.
All right, now you say they forced you to talk about the case?
Yes, they did.
All right, let me ask you this. On the tape, and according to Detective Forzapa's testimony, he advised you fully of your rights before you made any statements at all.
Yeah, and I walked in there, and he talked to me 15 minutes before the tape was put on and the video was put on.
All right, and
it was not on at all. Nothing was. He had to turn the tape on. He had to go and turn the video on. Nothing was on when I talked to him, and that is when they threatened me.
They threatened?
Yes, they did.
Now, let me ask you this. You were fully advised of your rights and knew.
Okay, so they're turning on a videotape shortly after they've already started questioning her, which is now against the rules. Might not have been back then, but that's questionable. And then she says that she was threatened on the videotape, and he's just going to skip right over that. That tells me she absolutely was threatened on the videotape. I haven't seen it. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny dropped the GoFundMe. Her uncle passed away, and they're trying to raise money for that. That is in chat. I will also drop it in the description box below. Jenny, email it to me so I can drop it in Discord too, please. Tayo saying, make sure you're on live chat up top and not top chat. I don't even know nothing about that. Rubber says, I'm late. You're good. You're right here. You're just in time. Kelly said, the case of Alieen has always fascinated and disturbed me. It has me as well. I'm questioning, do we think that, so a lot of us here feel like she should not have been sentenced to death, and I'm aware that she asked for it specifically, but would we feel the same if a man had committed the same crimes? Like, the only one I can think comes close as far as having the same childhood, or not even the same, but at least somewhat of a disturbed childhood, would be Richard Ramirez. But I don't think it's the same, really. So y'all let me know what y'all think in chat about if a man committed these crimes, do you think we would feel the same about it and be okay with the sentence of death? Just Julie said, hi everyone, I love this channel, but I rarely have time for live. Slight headache now. I'll catch it later. Best wishes. Oh, Julie, I hope you feel better, honey. I'm sorry. Darlene said, I've seen parts of this. I don't think she does too well. Probably not.
No, you didn't have to make any statement at all, did you?
When I walked in there, they said, I told them I'm here to confess, but I want to just really tell you about Tyra. And I was telling him I'm just here to talk about Tyra. He said, well, that's not going to do any good, because if you're just here to talk about Tyra and not about the cases, I've got Jolene Moore in custody right now, and I will have her here in Volusia County Branch Jail, and I will have her indicted for first-degree murder as well as you. We believe you are the suspects in this case.
And she was a suspect, wasn't she?
Yes, and I was pretty amazed that she became under protective custody when the police officers arrived in Pennsylvania, that she's under protective custody suddenly when she's a suspect.
And in fact, she's a suspect because you brought the automobiles of men you killed to your dwelling and had her either ride in them or drive in them, didn't you?
She drove it.
So she was a suspect. That's interesting. Toxic said, nope, sorry, man or woman, you do something regardless your gender. If it deserves the DP, so be it. Okay. Thank you for telling me that. That doesn't mean I don't empathize with the extenuating circumstances of her bad childhood. It's just not a good enough excuse. Right. Yes, Jenny, we're praying for you, and thank you all for showing Jenny love in chat. Zaya, if you want to talk, just let me know. I'm over here talking away.
You're just fine.
Okay.
Drove several of them, didn't she?
Objection,
No, she
Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Lee, we advise you on the record, do not talk about other cases. They have not been tried. Other juries will hear those. This is about Mallory.
Excuse me, Your Honor, please. I would object to counsel telling his witness not to answer questions.
I say the objection.
In fact, she was a suspect because you and she
He said not to answer questions about other cases that have not been tried yet. Sir, I have an objection to your objection.
were riding in an automobile that was wrecked that you had stolen from a man you killed, correct?
Objection,
I'm
Your
not
Honor.
going to answer.
Say the objection.
Your Honor, may we have a brief recess to, I'll get back to that. May I?
Thank you. Mr. Speculating just brought me some coffee. How sweet. Thank you.
Oh, unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
My coffee's cold.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would bring you some if I
That's
could.
fine.
I would have him bring you some.
We'll email it.
We'll email it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Abella said, if everything was exactly equal, if a man had gone through all that crap, the assaults, the abuse, and etc., I think I'd feel the same as I do for Alieen. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you as well, Toxic, for sharing your thoughts on it too. Toxic said, we need the DP here in Canada. I can think of two I don't want to be supporting while serving life sentences. Yeah. I think I saw one. I think I know one of them that you're talking about, a man that was recently up for parole up there or something. Indy said, I think it might compare to Bundy. He had this hate for women probably because he had resentment toward his mom. Yeah, I know Bundy was born in a home for unwed mothers. But he was raised as a brother to his actual mother, and then found out later that was his mother. Richard Ramirez was shown things from his uncle who was in Vietnam, horrible pictures. They would go in those villages and just assault the women horribly, like children, women, it didn't matter. They did some of them did some horrible things back then. And then he had another uncle or something, another member of his family that was a peeping Tom that would take him with him. So as far as the childhood thing, like, I think he comes close, but it's not anywhere near the assaults and the warped sense of reality that it's okay to be with your brother, or be abused by your brother and to be abusing him like Alieen went through. Indie Girl said, so yeah, male or female, same. Okay, thank you. Kelly said, I think Alieen had enough of all the abuse she experienced in life. I agree with a lot. I agree I agree with a lot of what she said as she neared death. I feel she just couldn't catch a break in life. Yeah, I like that statement because it does seem like she could not catch a break in life. I think that's a great way to put it. She just kept getting hit and hit and hit again, left, right, and center with all of this abuse. And then you got Dahmer, who had a pretty good childhood. His parents got divorced, but his dad loved him and like tried so hard for him. And he turned out the way he did. So, you know, I mean, all of these things make me question, like Sarah, we've talked about the brain of a psychotic versus a sociopath. And I think Zan was talking about it too. Hey, Pinto, thank you for being here. And then Darlene said, no one thinks that she shouldn't be punished, just that the mitigating circumstances should have gotten her life in prison, not the death penalty. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I know, like I said, I know she asked for death, but the mitigating circumstance. But see, you know, and then I talk about Ramirez. Ramirez, with the crimes he did, I feel like he should have got the death penalty. So am I biased in that? I wonder, you know, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Zan said Dahmer was completely weird to commit his crimes, in my opinion. Yeah, they did his brain scans, and I've tried to pull them up, but I can't get them. But
Not weird, wired.
Oh, sorry. Dahmer was completely wired to commit his crimes, in my opinion. Thank you, Zaya. Yeah, he was. He started at a young age playing with roadkill, and mistakenly, his dad thought that it was good because he had, you know, he was so odd. And so he encouraged it, and that created things later in life, you know, and I don't know, that case, the childhood aspect of Dahmer is questionable too.
Right, Sarah? He had a lot of sensory deprivation issues.
Yeah.
From what I've read about Alieen Wuronos, she also had a ton of sensory deprivation issues. They don't get held, they don't get rocked, they don't get in, you know, like when you put your kids on a swing and they go back and forth, it wires them differently. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then that
no physical contact with their moms and dads and no connections. You just lack the sensory, you know, connection with the world.
Yeah, that makes me think of Jeannie Wilder. Jeannie Wilder.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, need some Z's.
Oh, you're Jeannie Wiley, the one that we did the one that you did the deep dive over. Absolutely, they called her feral child, but yeah, absolutely same thing.
Yeah, when y'all were talking about sensory deprivation and nobody holding her and stuff, that baby. But it made her to where she was barely functioning. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. Sarah said Dahmer's mom was a hypochondriac and had very minimal physical contact, which goes to what Zaya was just talking about with the sensory deprivation aspect of it. Hey, Need Some Z's. Need Some Z's said, hi, everybody. I don't believe any circumstances in life justifies murder, especially if a person seeks it out. In my opinion, gender shouldn't factor into punishments. I can agree with that, definitely. Do you think... okay, if we take into account Eileen's childhood, that she should have got the death penalty, if you take that as a mitigating factor, do you think that she should have got the death penalty? And if you know of a case that parallels that from a male's perspective, like the childhood and things like that, would you feel the same about that? I mean, I know you said you don't think that gender should factor into it, but that's kind of, let me know what you think about that. That would cause attachment disorders, said toxic. And Sarah said physical contact as a baby sets you up for abnormal attachment disorder. Yeah. Yep. Thank you all for your comments. And
lack of physical contact, or you said no physical contact? Yeah. So she meant to say no physical contact as a baby sets you up for that. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm reading so fast, my brain.
No. It's okay. She had in two different comments, so yeah, it took me a second. I was like, wait, what? I got you, Sarah.
My ADHD today. I'm sorry. So the first comment was Dahmer's mom was a hypochondriac, and she had very minimal physical contact. and then no physical contact as a baby sets you up for abnormal attachment disorder. I read it as no, but even though it wasn't there, so I'm thinking my brain's going too fast today. I apologize. I'm sorry to hear that, Zan. I don't want to highlight that, but you so
Okay, so let's delve into this. So we've been talking about it for a couple of days of what we were going to talk about, whether this is nurture, nature, or both, right? So first of all, we have to think about what the difference in the two is, right? What's the difference between nature and nurture?
right,
Nature, genetic or biological predisposition, right? And
right,
nurture is the environmental or the social influences around it. So if you're looking at it from a nature standpoint, and I took lots of notes on this the other day because I knew we were going to get here, and I've been excited to talk about it, especially with Sarah in chat, and all the smartest people I know are here. So Wuronos was diagnosed with BPD, right, with borderline personality disorder, and she was also diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. Both are genetic components, so
okay,
you can and can predispose individuals to impulsive and violent behavior because it is a genetic thing, right? So that's falls under the nature category. So you have one tick there, right? And then you have a genetic predisposition. That's they're saying there's like ongoing debate in psychology about whether certain people are biologically predisposed to violence. Her family history had criminal behavior. Her biological father was convicted of um, he was an offender. So it's not we're
right.
not sure about how much of that could be attributed to her genetics versus environmental influence. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And thank you
no, you're
for
fine. That's a tick for nature. But if we're talking about nurture, then you're talking about early trauma. Her childhood had the most severe abuse and neglect that we could come up with. She was abandoned by her parents, raised by her grandparents, subjected to physical and abuse by her grandfather and other people. By age 11, she was already into transactional um, things, selling herself, selling her body to survive, which was,
right.
made her ostracized by all of her friends or all of her peers. So she had feelings of rejection. She felt feelings of distrust. That's nature. That's a tick for nature. Then you have poverty. Warnos grew up in like the most extreme poverty and lived much of her life in the same margins of that society, right? She engaged in prostitution to survive. She exposed herself to exploitation and violence like regularly, normalizing aggression as a
Right.
survival mechanism. So there's a tick on nature there. And then you have a lack of a support system. So I've got 2 in nature, 3 in nurture. So if you combine the 2 of them, then the trauma response and the survival mechanism for me already says the combination of that with her mental health challenges. I think it's both. It's a dual influence of nature and nurture, and her environment exacerbated all of the predispositions she already had towards violence and emotional instability. That's
I
just
love
my I took notes on that. I told you I was excited about that one.
Yeah, I love that. You broke it down so beautifully, and I
I
really
just think it's so deeply intertwined. I mean,
it
you get
is.
she has genetic predispositions and her mental health issues contribute to the violence. But then her traumatic upbringing and all the lack of support in all her social, her social environment where violence is a coping mechanism makes it, I just think it's both. It's just both to me, in my opinion,
Yeah.
completely in my opinion.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, I can definitely see both. For sure. Kelly said, I think in most cases it's a combination of nature and nurture. However, in some cases, I do believe some people were wholly born to be used as the negative. Yeah. Yep. Sarah said, absolutely. When you think of bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, those are typically chemical imbalances in the brain, but are often triggered or made worse by trauma. Yeah, I'm bipolar. And it was definitely made worse by trauma for sure, because I've had several traumas in my life. But it definitely triggers that aspect of it, for me personally. Darlene said someone can be born who is maybe going in that direction, but how you raise them can stop it or encourage it. Right. And yeah, I think that, born in, like Zio said, born into, with the genetic disorders that she had and the environment that she had is what made her what she was. And that's both, again, nurture and nature, because her environment, her home life, what she had to do to survive, plus the genetic dispositions to disorders already made it, made her what she was. Um, so
Where's
yeah,
that
I
from,
agree. And
Darlene? Is that another story about a someone can be born who's maybe going in that direction? And then was there a certain story you wanted us to check out? I would love to know.
yeah, I'll highlight that in just a second. And
Oh, okay, I missed it. I'm sorry. I was chatting and
no,
missed
no,
it.
no, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'm sorry. My brain, I'm not, my brain, I'm having too many things
I
going on.
know. I know where your head is today, and I love you for it, but
Aw.
I'm so proud that you're choosing to go in another direction for the day. We're gonna get there though. We're gonna get there. If we have to do it tonight, we'll get there
Oh,
because
yeah,
I'm on your side. I know what you're like. I'm trying to concentrate, but what I really want to do is stomp a mud hole in somebody's ass.
exactly. Yes.
I know it. I know it.
Darlene said, if you are interested in nature versus nurture, look at the little girl. Her name was Beth, I think. She was adopted from a horrible situation and put the adoptive parents through some stuff. That's interesting. I'm going to highlight your second comment in just a second. There's a second part to that. Zan said, someday we will be able to map the DNA for all of the predispositions, but that won't help until society values and targets the early childhood for all children. Okay, yeah, I can see that for sure. I hope that I don't think that we can fix childhood for every child, because there's going to be, we can't all have the same childhood. There are some parents that make better parents than other parents. But to map out the genetics of what makes you be a better parent, map out the genetics of all of those things would definitely be important and help for sure. That girl said, like my mother always told me, just because you're born in the gutter doesn't mean you have to sleep in the dirt, right? Exactly. I like that saying. And Darlene said they call her the child. So psychopath. She's grown now after extensive therapy and seeming normal and doing well. I have to look into that.
We have
Darlene
to
said
be
there are.
careful. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, baby.
I'm just saying we have to be careful how much it goes under the ask and you shall receive, because we're asking, for the DNA testing, for psych meds, we're asking for people to map our brains, but then we want um, religion separate from state, and we left a whole continent for that, and we came here to separate it, but yet we're putting it all into into one big central location again. And of course, now we have AI that's decided what it looks like. So we're asking for all of these things. But just I know I've touched on it just briefly. I had a son that passed away in 2001. And I look at it, I struggled really hard with faith back then because I had already decided that whatever happened was somebody else's fault. It wasn't his environment, it wasn't me, it wasn't where he was housed in my belly for the few months that he was there. It was something else. Existential
Mhm.
circumstances. And I was mad for a long time. And I think uh I looked at it like, oh, the doctors are playing God. We're doing things with babies to keep them alive when they had, if it was the 1800s and the baby and I were at home, we both would have passed, that kind of thing. So we're asking for all these things. Like, yes, let's analyze everybody's brain and let's see what it does. And how far do we want to go? How far do we want to
Right.
let everybody? It's okay, Sarah. It was a long time ago, but how far do we want to go to let the machines control us? Do we really want to know what's so deep in our psyche that causes everybody to be unique so that we can make everybody be the same?
Right.
What's the end goal? You know what I'm saying? That's deep or whatever, but it's just a thought process I have.
No, I think that's a great question to ask. And a good point to make for sure. And I agree with you. I don't I rely on natural remedy, because I
Yes,
don't
you
go to
do. I was
doctors much.
thinking that.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
don't do
you live out there where you're going out there and getting rose hips and making tea out of it and making
yeah,
jellies and jams and it's
yeah.
such a how calming is that? How cool, you know? Mm.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry about what you went through too.
A long time ago, and that speaking of nature, it is just kind of how it is. Final destination. It's like how many times can you miss the train before the train actually You don't want to be a cyborg, Sarah?
My husband said he does. Like when he dies, he was like, "Put me in a cyborg," and I'm like, "Hell no!"
You're
I'm
gonna
like, "When I
cryo
die,
him.
yeah," I'm like, "No, when I die, put me in the ground. Let me be." Like, no. But yeah, it freaks me out too.
Yeah.
Um, Real quick before we get back to this, Abella said, "Imagine knowing that a child may grow up to be an unaliver. What would society do with that child? There are a lot of scary scenarios." Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point to bring up with mapping the DNA and genetics of all of it. Like, if they knew this child was predispositioned to that, what would they do? How would they play God? Because they probably would play God and try to figure out, again, the nature versus nurture thing.
Oh, ethically, you'd have to. If you knew about it, you would have to. There's no
Right.
way I could tell you, hey, you're going to have this baby. And when this baby grows up, he is going to murder 7 people in your backyard. And you'd be like, okay, well, let's just continue on. There's no way. So if we knew about it ethically, you'd be in this dilemma like, so what do I do now? I've made this life. What do I do? What do I do with this?
Right. It goes back to the age old question of if you had a chance, if you ran into Mein Kampf when he was a child, would you kill him?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Exactly.
question that's asked a lot through psychology, I
Exactly.
don't know.
Ooh, we're getting too deep. Okay, back to the
Yeah.
trial before we rewrite a Bible or something.
Yeah. All right.
I reserve that area for. Now, you indicated that it was because of a series of telephone calls with Tyra Moore that you decided to confess.
Outside the scope, Your Honor, I object.
Is that right?
Say that over again?
Yes. You indicated that because you've been on the telephone to Tyra Moore, you decided to confess, protect her.
Yes.
In fact, you talked to her on the phone over a 3-day period on 11 different calls, did you not?
Yes.
And isn't it
Calls
true?
that,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say calls that the police officers forced Tyra to call me to confess.
Sure. You called her each time.
The police officers wrote that note, had her write a note and told them, have her call me. They had it all planned.
But you called her each time, right?
I called her under the direction of the police directing Tyra Jolene Moore.
She is frustrated. Like you can see it in her like the way in her mannerisms is the word I'm looking for. I didn't take my supplement today. I need to go take that because my brain is not working. I had to put this back on real quick. There it goes. Okay. Wanted to make sure we weren't going to get in trouble.
She knows that they manipulated Tyria into saying things and doing things that she wouldn't normally do, and she's angry about it. She can't control the situation. So yeah, I get it. I understand that.
Yeah. Yep. And I can feel compassion for that aspect of it. Sarah said everything, even terrible events, serve a greater purpose. Everything is meant to evolve our circumstances. Unfortunately, as humans, it's a difficult concept to grasp. Yeah, and that goes into like karma or your higher power. Everything happens for a reason. I live by that motto. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah, this is always a very enlightening chat. I love our channel. I love the time we spend together talking, because we do get into some deep conversations, and I love it. Zan said, I think she was triggered by Ty's testimony and the fact that she set her up, right? I would be too.
The police had her set up so they could record your telephone calls, didn't they?
Yeah, they had me set up so that I talked to her about, and her trying to ask me to clear her when Tyra Moore knows more than she's even talking about. I only cleared her because I loved her.
All right, what is it that Tyra Moore knows that she's
wanted to
not?
protect her.
What is it that Tyra Moore knows that she's not talking about?
Objection to the part of the question, Your Honor.
Overruled.
She she knows that it's self-defense, and she is not telling anybody anything.
What else?
It's basically about it. She knows it's self-defense, and she's not saying anything because she's involved in this books and movies, and she's involved in her family, not losing her family. I know her very well. She doesn't want to lose her family, and she's willing to lie for that in order to, and she's also worried about being arrested for accessory to the fact.
All right,
or after the fact.
If it was self-defense.
I mean, you know, I've got a problem with the movies and book deals too, especially being spoke about by officers. That is a conflict of interest. And basically, I think Alieen feels in this moment like she was basically sold again for the umpteenth millionth time, and sold by someone she loved. I think she's hurt and very upset. Hey, Natasha. Natasha said, hello again, everyone. Working, so we'll be in and out of chat, but still listening. Thank you for being here. And then Toxic said, the person she loved and felt she could trust just threw her under the bus. Yes, she said lived, but I knew she meant love. Absolutely, and I know she's hurt. And then Bad Girl real quick said, Lee never expected Ty to turn on her. The betrayal must have been devastating. Absolutely. I couldn't imagine. I mean, like I said, sold again for this 1,000th time.
Defense. You really killed Mr. Mallory in self-defense. How would that jeopardize Tyra Moore?
Objection to the form of the question, Your Honor.
Ruled.
Because Tyra Moore is interested in making her $500 million and more. She's already been offered, and it's on a cap waiting for her if I get a conviction.
Well, no, you didn't answer the question. I asked you if in fact it was self-defense and you killed Mr. Mallory because of the things you described, how would that jeopardize, let me finish, how would that jeopardize Tyra Moore?
Because they have to have these people that are involved in books and movies have to have my blood in order to get the money.
Well,
so they're willing to lie.
Are you saying it would, I'm asking about jeopardizing Tyra Moore. You said it would jeopardize Tyra Moore if she told.
That's a kind of like a notable thing to say. They have to have my blood in order to make this money. And that, that's telling me how she really feels about it.
Self-defense story. How would that jeopardize her? That was your word.
No, I'm talking about, she doesn't want to say it's self-defense because I believe she is involved with millions of dollars, books and movies, and she doesn't want my acquittal because if I get convicted, she gets multi-millions. So does Mr. Horsenpaw, whatever his name is, Munster, and a lot of you other detectives and police officers that are involved in this, and also that her family is really, she's concerned about her family. She loves her family to the max. Her family's rejecting her. That's tearing her up because I know her to the max. And plus, she is, she's claiming she doesn't know anything because she's afraid, accessory to the fact of, because of knowing any incident whatsoever. So she's claiming, she's pretending she doesn't know anything, not even that I told her it's self-defense or an incident that happened. My goodness, she's even acting like she doesn't even know how long we were in the Zodiac bar the first night we met. She's acting like she doesn't even know where I lived. She knew where I lived. I was living in the car at the time because I just broke up with Tony. She's acting like she doesn't even know some of the apartments we lived in and stuff. I mean, I got 289 lies in her deposition that she gave. Just flat out lies of just common things. Why is she?
I believe that, and I wonder how Alieen felt knowing that Ty was so worried about her family and what they thought in the family aspect of it, how she's close to her family, but Alieen was not afforded that luxury in life. Again, it's sad. Rubber said he's talking too aggressive for my comfort. Very triggering. I'm so sorry, Rubber. If you need to leave, honey, and come back later, you can. Don't feel bad about doing that if you need to. And then Sarah said Lee is no dumb cookie. She may not have finished school, but she's street smart. Yeah, absolutely.
Why is she lying so much? Why does she have to lie about a simple thing?
And you said it's because it would jeopardize her in some way if she didn't tell about your self-defense?
I believe that she is lying about a whole lot of things to keep herself from being any accessory to the fact of anything.
Okay.
She is afraid to tell anything, even if she's even afraid to say it's self-defense, because then she is knowledgeable about the situation.
Is there anything else that she knew except the self-defense story?
That's the answer, Your Honor.
Oh, real.
What was I?
Yeah. Is there anything else that you say she knew?
She's so frustrated. I would be too, though, to be fair. I would be too.
That would incriminate her except the self-defense story about Malcolm?
It's probably a commercial. Hold on. Yep. Don't you do it. Okay. I didn't want that noise in the background. Did I pause it? No, I didn't. Just takes a minute to load. Y'all let me know if I'm cutting out or anything. I think the kids might be using the internet, so let me know, and I'll turn it off. So
It's okay to me. so
Zio, okay, cool, thank you. Zio, so I see Helen someone, and I want to say hey to you, Helen. But so in order, like, it's showing me a little link thing, so that means, like, if I were to type to her over here, she wouldn't see it. It would only be in your chat, right?
Say that again. Say it again.
So I see Helen.
Oh, yeah.
I see. So if I type to her, if I said hey to her over here in this chat, would she see it?
She will see it if you type in the... No, she'll see it when I type to her, but she won't see it
Okay.
when you type to her. But she can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
And she'll see, I was going to say, she'll see the highlight.
Okay. Thank you for being hanging out with us today through Zio's chat, Helen. And Helen says, nature loads the gun, nurture pulls the trigger. What a great way to
I
put
love
it.
it.
That is,
I love that.
yeah. That was really deep, like Zio said. Zio said that is so deep, and I like that. That is really deep, and I do like that as well. And then real quick, Sarah said these people are doing their best to fluster her to get her to trip up. Yep. And that's their job to do that, but that's why you don't ever want to go on the stand willingly, like it's been said she had to because she's claiming self-defense in this, but that's why you never testify, because the prosecution gets to question you, and this is their objective. It's to piss you off and show a side of you. They want to show that you get angry, basically, to the jury, to try to help make you look worse. Itchy Witcher's Horse Rescue, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for letting me know that it was fine and not cutting out.
So does anybody in our chat already know why Alieen chose to testify during her trial?
From what was said in some of the other streams we've done, they said she had to because she's claiming self-defense. So therefore she has to get on the stand and tell her side of the story. I'm not sure.
In that era? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I didn't know that. I think, in my personal opinion, I think she wanted self-representation. You know, she was defending herself in a legal system that she wasn't understood by. She was unfairly judged by them. So I think she wanted to it was her decision to testify from what I've read. And I think it was just her desire to represent herself on her terms rather than, waiting on the defense team to represent her. And I also think that she wanted control over her story. And she's a little bit defiant and attention whorish, you know what I mean? But
yeah, now she does
self-destructive.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, definitely. She does have the lawyers defending her, but yeah, I know what you're saying. And I mean, out of all the people to tell her story, she should be the one to tell it, in my opinion.
For this one, yeah, I was going to say when Helen said a lot of her story I believed, and I do believe her during her testimony. What I don't believe is all of the rest of them, like we said yesterday, that all of the rest of them were self-defense. But this one particularly, I absolutely think it was self-defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Zan said, unfortunately, in a self-defense case, the defendant almost has to testify, or always might have been what Zan was trying to say. And yeah, I agree. Bella, you should not have done that. Hold on a minute. You're so sweet.
Oh,
Natasha said, I'm
aw.
so glad you're here. We need to get our other friends to come too. The times work out well. Oh, really? That's so sweet. I'm so glad you're here, Natasha, as well. Toxic said, not only by LE and courts, but by the media, they vilified her. Absolutely. Kelly said, how could she trust anyone to defend her life story, to defend her after her life story, right? She couldn't trust anybody. Absolutely not. And Zan said, because the self-defense claim has the burden of proof switched to the defense. Yep, you're absolutely right. That makes a lot of sense. So
But
I
the
think
problem with that, though, once she took the stand, she was inconsistent, she was erratic, and, well, it's her often confrontational manner. It played a role in her undermining her own case. And so then her conviction mirrored that. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. If she hadn't taken the stand in her own case and let the defense write it out, she might have had a little better chance. But she was erratic, and when you want to control the narrative, you're going to control the narrative.
yeah,
Believability for her in this case, from my standpoint, she was. If it would have been that they could let the defense question her and never have let the prosecution question her, she'd have been okay.
right.
But yeah, Zan, that's definitely a risk. Absolutely.
Yep. And it's their job to get their conviction. Thank you, Abella, so much for gifting 10 memberships. She said, oops, fell on the button and put smiley faces. You're so sweet. I really appreciate that. I really do. You're so awesome and so supportive. And I really appreciate your support so much. I'm going to play our clip real quick. Aboard Speculation Station, y'all. I took my frankincense, so my mind should be better now. Hopefully. I have to give it a minute to kick in, but frankincense is really good for your brain. And it's anti-tumorous and anti-cancerous as well. That was so sweet. Thank you so much, Abellis.
I read
what y'all
Zan's
said.
comment as Abellis should be named Speculating Grifter. And it said Gifter.
Oh, yeah, it says gifter. When you said that, that's what I saw too. She should be, because she's always gifting, and she's so sweet for that. You're so sweet for that. She wants us all to be members. I need to do a members post. I forget to do members posts, but I think I did one last night.
Helen says, and if she could have controlled her eyes, it would have helped. Yeah, I agree.
For sure. Absolutely. I think Helen said a few minutes ago too that courts can be scary.
Yes.
And they absolutely can. You're testifying, and she's having to testify about such personal things like what happened to her and all of that in front of these men and women, Zan said that's always the risk when the defendant testifies. Yep. All right.
I've had frankenberries, but I never had frankincense.
Oh yeah, I use doTERRA supplements. doTERRA does essential oils, and they go all over the world to get the highest grade. And I take that. I take an anxiety, like a chill pill, and it's got a bunch of calming essential oils in it, and it works so good. Like, it controls my bipolar and everything. I could talk about doTERRA for days, but I try not to because I don't want people to think I'm trying to sell it to them. It just works really good for me.
I mean, if it
Frankenberries.
works and it works for you, there's nothing wrong with selling the idea, right?
Yeah,
Frankenberries are good.
they are good. I think I buy when they come out. I buy several boxes. But let me get back to this before we go off on down another rabbit hole. I buy like 5 boxes of it though, and I get the strawberry ones too, and the Count Chocula. Like I'll buy when they come out, I'll buy 5 boxes of each, and the blueberries and stuff. Yeah, yep.
Self-defense, and she just knows a little bit of what happened, not all, because she'd always tell me, don't tell me the rest because I want to pass a polygraph. If I ever get polygraphed, I'll pass it.
Is that it? You didn't tell her anything else?
I couldn't tell her in detail because I didn't want her to get too involved, but she didn't hear from me. They were self-defense and just a little bit, and saw the bruises, witnessed the bruises and all, asked me a little bit about this situation, which I'm not.
Now, you gave your statement to Detective Farzeba. You told him that she didn't know anything, didn't you?
I was covering for her totally.
My question is, didn't you tell him she didn't know anything about it?
I was covering for her totally.
You lied to him, didn't you?
Yes.
And you also told him that you kind of got to drinking, and then you just casually mentioned that you've been drinking and you've been in the woods with your bicycle and you saw a body in the woods, and that's what you told her. Isn't that what you told her?
That happened 14 days after. That happened 14 days after the incident.
Your Honor, please may the witness be instructed to first answer.
I mean, but she's already admitted that she lied to cover up for Ty. Okay, I want to make sure my music was playing. So it's not new information when she says that. Like, she admitted that she was covering for Ty so that Ty didn't get in trouble.
Answer yes or no.
Answer the question.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I would object to her giving a narrative to every question. Many of these call for a yes or no, and then she can explain after she gives her answer.
All right. Go ahead.
In fact, didn't you tell the detectives, and it's on the videotape, that
Objection to the statement, it's on the videotape, Your Honor.
Objection.
didn't you tell the detectives during the tape statement that you told her after you got to drinking that you just found a man in the woods body, right?
Yes.
And you told him that she made some remark to the extent you're in me.
Bye, Jenny. We love you, babe, and I hope that everything goes good. I'm giving you my prayers and my full support to the best of my ability, and I think the link for Jenny was dropped in Discord for the GoFundMe. That GoFundMe is to help raise money because her uncle recently passed away. So I will be soon. I will be helping with that. What little I have, and if you guys want to do that, that link is in Discord. We love you, Jenny, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck.
Right?
Yes.
And she didn't believe you, did she?
It happened 14 days later. On the news, she saw it, and I knew she was going to see the car because she saw the car the first day. It was on the news, the vehicle with the gator tag in the front. I knew she was going to recognize it. So I told her that 14 days after. So I told her that 14 days after. So I told her about the bicycle jazz 14 days after. So she could prepare, because I was going to prepare her to tell her what happened.
Because you knew that was coming. You saw that on the television. You knew she was going to pick it up.
Yes, I did.
And so then you told her that there was this dead guy in the woods that you just came across, right?
Mm-hmm.
Asked and answered, Your Honor. Objection.
I'll tell you something. Helen said we don't have Frankenberries, but we do have Pancake Day. I could get down with Pancake Day, but something interesting about me is that I don't like syrup. I eat either just butter or peanut butter on my pancakes.
I do not eat syrup on my pancakes.
Really?
No, just a pancake.
That's so interesting.
It's sweet enough already, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I can't do all that syrup and stuff. The kids will. The kids will load it down, but I don't.
Hey, Content Angel, thank you for being here. Yeah, Helen said pancakes are good, but a national day dedicated. Yeah, that is something to think about.
We are an unserved nation over here.
Yeah.
Content doesn't eat either. Oh, we're toxic. There we go. See, I know
Toxic
it.
doesn't.
My people, people for sure.
Zan said sugar-free syrup. Toxic said me neither. Hate maple syrup. And then Content said just butter. Yep. Or honey or jam, says Toxic. All right.
It's so true, Helen. We don't actually get a dedicated day like they do in the UK, but do we have a dedicated food day at all here?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. There's like a day for there's something for every day of the year. So there probably is, but it's not nationally recognized. Itchy said warm berries on pancakes. And hey, True Crime Addict, so nice to see you.
Objection.
Overruled.
Right?
Yes, I told her.
But you didn't tell her that you killed him, did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, when did you tell her that?
The 14th day after he was on TV.
But first you just said you found the body, and then you drank a little more and you said you killed him, right?
What?
You began the story when you were drinking that night when it came out on television. First you said you found the body, and then you told her you killed him.
Objection to story, Your Honor.
Overruled.
First you said I found the body, and then I told him to kill him.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because I wanted to prepare her, like how she would react.
Yeah, and
She
was surprised.
started reacting.
And she she got right upset, didn't she?
At first, she didn't believe me.
Did there ever come a time that she believed you?
Yes, after I started telling her, this guy attacked me. I'm trying to tell you. I wanted to prepare you because I've got to tell you. That day that you saw those bruises on my neck and everything, the day we moved with that car, that was Richard Mallory, and he had raped me really bad.
Oh, so you didn't even tell her.
So I think Tyra might not have believed her at first because we know that Alieen was a storyteller. And if we didn't know that about her, or if it wasn't, if she wasn't a storyteller, or, changed the stories a lot, I think it would have helped in her defense. Helen said, poor woman. I know. It's sad.
Her this rape story until 2 weeks after it happened.
I was scared too because I didn't want her to worry and get scared. She loved me really bad, and I loved her very bad, and I didn't want to just sit there and tell her what happened. It's just.
And then you say that you told her all these details about the alcohol and the anal rape and the tying up and all that?
No, I didn't tell her all the details. I told her I was raped. I told her I was raped, and she asked a few questions, and I told her, I started to get into details. She said, don't tell me no more. Don't tell me no more. I don't want to know no more. She was really pissed off. She was really mad at Mallory for what he done, and she was just really mad.
Now, how close were you and Ty Moore?
Very close. Tight as a knot, two peas in a pod. We were right arm, left arm glued together. I mean, we were tight.
That tells me that, I think that Alieen loved Ty more than Ty loved Alieen, but I'm glad to hear her describe it like that. Helen said that she just made, on a side note, she just made Yorkshire pudding. I'll tell you a story real quick. A couple years ago, we were doing Christmas all over the world. And that year for Christmas from Santa, I got the kids stuff from England. Like there was a website where I could get English candy and mincemeat pudding and things like that. And I got some kind of golden syrup for them. And we tried all kinds of things. And I tried to make Yorkshire pudding, but I could not get it. And I'm sure it wouldn't have tasted the same anyway. But I thought that was funny that you said that. Natasha said, to add to what Zaya just said, I believe you have to use Safari to log onto YouTube to gift memberships and possibly to opt in. I always gift from my Android and watch from my iPhone, so I'm not 100% on that. Thank you for letting me know, because I don't know
how to do the gifting things, and a lot of people asked. Content said Ty was a manipulator, and yeah, I think they both were, to be fair. Helen, I'm good on that, but thank you for asking.
Right. We loved each other very much.
Trusted each other.
Yeah.
What broke you up?
Pardon?
What broke you up? What broke up the relationship?
When we saw the sketch on the TV, I told her, you're going to have to go to your parents' house. You're going to have to just leave me. And we made arrangements for her to take a bus. And she called her parents and got ready to go up north.
What sketch on TV are you talking about?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
The sketch of the two girls.
Sketches that are in evidence here in this case?
Helen, I might take you up on that. I really might. Content said, if you guys remember the story involving Celeste Beard in Texas, I think she and Ty are the same personality. Interesting. I'm not sure.
We're not letting Helen cook
Go ahead.
in here. So we're not letting Helen cook in here. We're not making no spotted dick at all.
I'm
We're
good on
not
that.
having it. We're gonna skip that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, threw you off.
Content, I'll
didn't I?
look into Celeste Beard. Yeah, you did. I'll look into Celeste Beard. Oh really? Abellis, thank you for letting me know. I'll have to make sure, because I'm gonna send you some stuff in probably a couple weeks, like a week or two. So I'll have to check on that.
Yes.
That's a case I've never heard of. So.
Why did that cause you to break up?
Because
What'd you say, babe?
I said I've never heard of that case, so that would be new to me.
Yeah, I need to look into it. I did submit FOIA requests for everything on Alieen and Pazuzu Algarad. I said Pazuzu in the FOIA. I didn't mention his other name, but he changed his name to Pazuzu.
Lisa, thank you so much. Oh, Pazuzu. Is that the person you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah,
Lisa
that lived.
just stopped by my channel and was subbing after watching the inmate reports, and I'm grateful. Thank you, Lisa.
Aw, that's so awesome, Lisa. I want to tell you thank you for doing that too. That was so sweet.
because too many people knew that Tyra wore a baseball cap, I wore a baseball cap, and that we were always together, and the looks of that sketch fit our features.
And so now she's a suspect in a murder.
Yes,
Because you and she have been riding in a murdered man's car.
Objection, Your Honor. Lee, don't answer that question.
I'm not going. I'm advice of my attorneys. I'm not going to answer that question.
Are you not going to answer any questions about the other 6 murders?
I
That's
will
right.
state that Ms. Wuronos' attorney and so will Mr. Miller and Ms. Jenkins that on our advice, she will not answer those questions on our advice because those cases have not been tried. Other juries will.
Your Honor, I would, excuse me.
So again, they're telling her not to answer questions about the other cases because they haven't been tried, which I agree with.
Mr. Knowles, I can cut you off for that.
I'm done.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. During the 3 days of telephone calls while you were in the jail and you were talking to Tyra Moore, you called her each time, correct?
I had to. She couldn't call me.
Yeah, like when I heard that, I was like, you can't call into the jail to talk to somebody. She had to call her. So in other words, Alieen is saying Ty was present. Absolutely. And she's saying that she was just going in there to admit to it so they would leave Ty alone. And then meanwhile, Ty's setting her up because she thinks she's going to make all this money off of the movie deal and the book deal. And I'm just like, I mean, poor Alieen got sold again. I'm just not, that was so manipulative. She isn't on trial for those. What Zaya said, she's not on trial for those. That was so manipulative. It really was. Yeah, that was a stupid question, wasn't it, Zan? I'm like, you can't call into the jail. What the hell?
Okay. And to your knowledge, those telephone conversations were all recorded by the police.
I asked her over and over, is she being recorded?
Well, you suspected you were being recorded, didn't you?
No, but I asked her to see if she'd tell me she was or something, because I know Tyra. She might say yes, and tell me the truth, but now I've realized that Tyra sure can conceal herself and lie. I never knew she had a black heart like she does.
See, this makes me feel like she really is telling the truth. Like, I believe Alieen in this part fully, because of the way she's talking about it. She's hurt, she's scorned, and I believe everything she's saying about Ty. I really do. Abella says Ty lies. Oh, she drives me nuts. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just I believe everything she's saying. You can hear it in her voice how hurt she is.
Because right now she could help me out if she'd just be honest.
What is it you wanted to say about these murders?
What?
Objection, Your Honor. Lee, do not answer the plural. Take away the yes, Your Honor, and we'll withdraw the advice.
Go ahead.
Had Tyria already had her immunity by this time?
I think so. I think this is after Ty. Hold on. Actually, it shows me, I do believe, in order, and I'm pretty sure this was after Ty testified.
Well, it's after she testified, but I mean, I guess if she was offered immunity, it would have been before the trial started, right? That makes more sense.
Yeah. So it does start at the beginning. 7 was Ty, and then we have Alieen was 21. We're on 21 right now.
I gotcha. Okay.
And we probably won't finish it today, but I mean, either way, we're going to go through the verdict, the penalty phase, and then when she gets told that down here, penalty phase and verdict and sentencing and all of that. We're going to deep dive Alieen for a while until I get in trouble for streaming it, and hopefully I won't. I really want to deep dive this because, I had just seen the movie. I knew a little bit about it, but I find it interesting, and I hope that you guys will all stick around to deep dive it with us like we have been. Zan said, yes, this is the defense case. Ty was prosecution case. Yeah, okay, thank you. Natasha said, so happy to hear that. I've always wanted to look further in this case. Me too, Natasha, and thank you for hanging out with us.
Did not even one single time in 3 days with 11 calls say you've been raped, did you?
I was totally concentrating on her and what she's doing up north. And then when she told me that the police are around, I was totally concentrating on how I've got to cover for her. I never even thought about that.
All right, what were you covering for her? What was it you were trying to cover for her?
That to be a suspect.
Well, she hadn't done anything, had she?
Accessory
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
Overruled.
She's a suspect.
I was thinking the same thing. We've already went over this, sir. Why do you keep asking the same question over and over again?
Accessory. She knows what happened.
Just knowing? She didn't participate in any way?
No,
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
Overruled.
she knows that I was raped.
No.
Not in detail, but she knows I was raped and I defended myself.
And you say she knows that because you told her 14 days after it happened, right?
And yes,
Okay. But you didn't mention it one time during the 3 days of phone calls, did you?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
like I said,
Overruled.
I wasn't concentrating on any of the self-defense or anything. I was concentrating on when I get in there and confess that she's not involved in the murder, that just solely I am the person that's involved. She is not. I've got to clear her that they got the wrong person they're looking for.
Does that mean that during those 3 days phone calls, you did not even one time mention rape?
We didn't even hardly talk about, we talked about other things.
I mean, again, I don't think they would have talked about that on the phone too much, especially if she suspected that she was being recorded. Just looking at y'all's comments real quick. Because we know that she thought at this time she was being recorded. She pretty much knew.
Does that mean that you
The
never?
family and stuff.
Does that mean that you never mentioned the rape during the 3 days of phone calls?
That's right.
Okay.
So it was never brought up.
Oh, commercial. Nope, don't do it. So, what do y'all think about it so far? I mean, if you know, you know, so Lisa. Content said, you guys need to keep in mind that Lee was totally obsessed with keeping Ty happy and around. She was so in love with her, and Ty did not feel the same way. Yep, that's absolutely true. She did anything and everything. And we talked about how, and she even referenced Tony, I think, was who she referenced. She had just gotten out of the relationship with the other lady who was like, you know, they were dating, but the lady was conflicted because of religious reasons and was concerned about being with her. And like, they ended up breaking up because this woman felt like she wasn't a good Christian because she liked women, which is a horrible confliction to have. And then she goes straight from that relationship and gets with Ty. So of course she's doing everything she can to keep her, because she's just been let down right before that by another woman that she loved who felt guilty at the time about loving women. And at this time period, it was not accepted like it is today. So I'm sure she was really concerned about it. From what I understand, Ty's family didn't like her being with women, you know, so I could be wrong on that, but that's what I seem to remember. So of course she's going to do everything. She's scared to death she's going to lose her, and she really loves her. And again, I can tell she really loved Ty. Helen said she became extremely paranoid at the end. She did. We're going to look at some of her videos from jail. She talked about all kinds of things. Toxic said Ty also threatened to leave Alieen on numerous occasions. I'm sure she was. I'm sure she did, I meant. And I was saying I'm sure she was to this comment. Ty was basically using Alieen. She absolutely was. Helen said, in my opinion, she wasn't bright enough to lie convincingly. I believe her. I think she was very smart. Content said, which is exactly the dynamic between Tracy Tarlington and Celeste Beard. That's why this case reminds me of that case. We're definitely going to look into it. Zan said every step of the way. You know, I don't want to say that out loud, but I'm going to highlight it. And, you know, considering the abuse in that industry, I could definitely understand why they would be. Because, I mean, if you work in that industry, the way men look, I mean, they're literally paying money. They look at you like an item to be purchased. And there's so much abuse and neglect and all of that. And, you know, I could definitely understand that. Abella said Alieen never had a decent person in her life. I don't think so, the poor woman. I think Ty knew everything that happened and when it happened. I do too.
Brought up until months after your arrest, correct? It wasn't brought up with Detective Korzinka, was it?
It sure wasn't, because he didn't give me a chance to say it. He always cut me off.
Or you
And
forgot.
every one of those
Or you
crimes, he
forgot.
cut
If
me
the witness
off.
can answer you.
Yes, it was with kids.
He cut me off. He cut me off every time I talked about a rape with any incident.
Oh, did you talk about rapes with other incidents?
Objection,
I'm
Your Honor.
not going to answer.
Object, Lee, do not answer about
I'm
other
not.
cases. They have not been tried yet.
Ron, excuse me, I just wanted it down now.
We have that to catch you on.
No, sir, didn't want it, and And I'm gonna get on them too, because they're gonna get this, there's no, let's go refrain from, handling this.
I do appreciate the fact that her lawyer is given so many objections. I've seen some cases, especially here recently, and I'm over here hollering, objection, and they're not. I'm like, okay, what the hell? So
I feel like he's intentionally trying to provoke her so that he can see a different side of her. He doesn't want the jury to see her as the soft-spoken, uneccentric, schoolgirl. He wants them to see her as a dirty, street walking woman who murdered a man in cold blood. That's the way they want the jury to see her, and the only way for them to do that, she's already said she did it. She's just trying to prove she did it in self-defense. But like I said, she's eccentric and ruining her own defense. Well, they didn't do it. It's not fair. Woe is me. Okay, Eeyore. You know what I mean? That's the way he's trying to portray her.
Right.
And
Yep.
to get her triggered.
Yep. And he is trying real hard to trigger her. And I do appreciate the defense team objecting so much and trying their damnedest to defend her and help her on the stand. Hey, Reese. Hey, Pinto again. I know you were in here earlier, but I wanted to say hey to you again. Helen said it infuriates me. Yes. Content real quick said, you guys, I think part of her appeal was based on ineffective assistance of counsel, but I can't remember the details. It's possible. Reese said, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Back to you.
This witness, Ms. Jenkins, is the one that handled her.
And if you're honored to allow her to answer part of the question and then not allow me to finish the question, just tying my hands behind my back.
That's all right. Ms. Jenkins, do you have an objection?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, the objection is sustained. You may proceed, Mr. Taylor.
In fact, during the 3 days of phone calls, more than 65 times you said it was either mistaken identity and that Ty was innocent, correct? Over and over again.
Because in the later portions of the phone, when I kept asking her about if anybody's recorded, I felt just in case she is lying to me, I'm going to not express anything on that phone that would put her in jeopardy.
Or put you in jeopardy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're also looking to protect yourself, aren't you?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's why over 25 times you said it was mistaken identity. You said that over and over again, didn't you?
I only said it twice.
Only said it was mistaken identity twice?
I think. I don't remember the phone calls, everything that we said.
Well, could it have been more than 25?
I can't remember every word that was said.
Could it have been more than 25?
More than 25?
Yes. Like 58?
If you counted them, I don't know. I don't think so, as far as I'm concerned.
How about more than 20?
No,
More than 10?
I don't know. I thought a couple times I said it.
Okay. All right.
She was on substances at the time, so she probably doesn't remember a lot of what she said. We will have to talk about that, Helen, says Io. I don't believe she's a victim. Neither did the judge. Lisa, why do you feel that way? Please let me know. Because I like to have different opinions. I absolutely believe she was a victim. So please let us.
She's talking about Sarah. She's talking about Sarah Boone. Sorry, love.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was like, no. She's talking about Sarah Boone.
I was getting excited. I was like, somebody feels different. Tell me why. I want to understand.
Yeah. No, we're having a sidebar over here in the other chat. Sorry, love.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm happy for you. Darlene said, after being abused by every man in her life, can you blame her for hating men? Not condoning what she did, just saying, I agree 100%. Absolutely. She was holding her own there, though. Yeah, she was. Absolutely, Abellis. And then Reese said, I so sympathize with Alieen all her life from day one, someone was trying to take her from day one. So I so sympathize with Alieen all her life from day one, someone was trying to take her from day one. Yep. I absolutely agree.
And more than 25 times on the telephone, you suggested that she lied for you, didn't you?
No, I don't recall any part. I told her please go and tell him the truth, which I thought she would go and tell him self-defense.
Oh, but didn't you say, don't mention me? Tell them the truth, but don't mention me. Didn't you say that over and over again?
I don't recall that. I don't know.
You don't recall asking or suggesting that she lied?
If I did, then I said next that it's a very confusing situation. It's a very intense, scary, shocking moment. A lot of things are mixed and mashed. You just don't think properly. You don't think.
And what was shocking about casual phone calls on the telephone to your best
What do you
friend?
mean casual? They started getting where she's talking about her family is being interrogated by police officers.
I don't think those phone calls were any kind of casual conversation in the least, because they're talking about an unaliving.
You talked about drinking beer and how you couldn't wait to get out, things like that too, didn't you?
Yes, but I couldn't tell you what day, when, where, first, second, third time. I
Told her how much you loved her and missed her and things
Yes.
like that.
mhm.
These weren't shocking phone calls, were they?
That was the beginning. That was the beginning. We were talking about how much I loved her and stuff. Yes, I missed her. That was the beginning. The shocking phone calls come at the end.
And if you suspected the police were listening there towards the end, didn't you?
I didn't know. I didn't know if I could believe or not. So I tried to keep calm on the phone on certain things.
Well, wouldn't this have been an ideal time on this calm circumstance to say, well, you know, I had to do it. Let me finish the question. You know, I had to do it because I was raped so brutally and had to defend myself. Wouldn't that have been something to say for the police to hear?
I didn't want her to be accessory to the fact.
Be an accessory.
I constantly thought accessory to the fact that she could be charged because she knew about an incident that even lingered for a year before anything was known about it.
But that's the first thing you told the police, wasn't it? That she knew about the killing, but she didn't really believe you?
Because at first she didn't believe me.
In other words, almost the first thing out of your mouth, that she's innocent.
Oh yes, I'm lying there though. I'm telling him that
She's doing anything that she can to try to save Ty, because she's worried about her being accused of being accessory to the fact after the fact. She fascinates me because I can't get to the bottom of her. Sarah, if you're talking about Sarah and Alieen, they fascinate me as well, both of them. Yeah.
I was trying to explain it in chat where I was saying it. Do you feel like, have you ever been in an argument with somebody and you're like, I know what I'm trying to tell you, but you're not listening to me. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Like they have a mental block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say it like, I'm not saying anybody is not, like you're not smart enough to understand what I'm saying, but apparently I can't like get through your thick skull what I'm trying to tell you. And I think that's where she's at. She's frustrated. It's like, I'm trying to tell you, I love this girl more than life itself. And so what I did was I answered all of her questions according to what she needed me to do. I told her what she needed to hear. I told the cops what they wanted to hear. Yes, she probably knows more than she said, but she's got immunity. So what is it? Why is she acting dumb now? She's acting like she don't know anything about the common things that we did. Like I tied my shoes. You don't know that I know how to tie my shoes? So yeah, she's frustrated at this point.
Yep. And I agree absolutely. Yeah. Because and they're trying to make her look bad and guilty, and she's just like, you know, what do you not understand? Right. Absolutely.
she didn't believe me, but I'm covering for her because I don't want her. I'm doing the same thing she's doing, pretending that she knows nothing. She knows it's self-defense. She knows I was raped.
Maybe you're doing the same thing then that you are now, would you say?
I'm not lying at all. I'm up here telling the truth, and I think I'm the only one that's telling the truth between my lawyers and me. Especially when I've learned about all this book and movie greed.
Right.
Mic drop. I'm the only one telling the fucking truth.
Yep. And in that moment, she was. And again, I mean, it makes me feel bad for her because she's abused by everyone. Everyone's lying on her, which I'm sure was also not a new feeling for her. Everybody's using her. She knows about this book deal and all the money everybody's going to make off of her story. And that's why I don't understand how it wasn't a conflict of interest when you come in baiting Ty with the promise of possible money and things. How could you even use her testimony in court? Like, if you're baiting her with money and promises of a book deal or a movie, she's going to make it as salacious as possible to get more money and make people want the story more. So
Absolutely. She feels betrayed too. It's crazy.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's talk about that for just a minute. You've talked to some movie people about this, haven't you?
I did. Jackie Drew.
Yeah.
We have a lawsuit going on her. We are filing a lawsuit.
Movie producer type person. And you talked about if any money was to be made out of this, you'd like Lee to have it, didn't you?
Lee?
I'm sorry. Ty to have it, didn't you?
No, because if I said anything to her in a letter, which I can't understand how I could have wrote her while I was in jail, because as soon as I got done talking to the detectives, they stuck me in solitary confinement lockdown, shoving pills down me and got me messed up on drugs forcingly. And I didn't have any pen or pencil or paper to write, and you people are saying that those letters came in January in jail, and I don't remember writing any letters whatsoever.
Who was this that was forcing drugs?
That reminds me of Richard Allen. How can they force you to take medication in jail? I don't understand how that's not a violation of someone's HIPAA rights. Speaking of, Zio got the information for us to send letters to him. I had tried to get that, but he was on lockdown, so they were saying that you couldn't send him letters, but Zio has that information, and I will post it on my community wall later. It is in the Discord. He is pecking at her on purpose. He absolutely is. Bad girl. And
so
Zan,
they mentioned Jackie Drew. Wasn't Jackie Drew just a friend?
I don't know. I think that her testimony is here. And that is who she said she was suing. Let's see, because we can go over that. I think it's after this. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, I was wondering. It says Jacqueline Drew.
It says Jacqueline Davis, so it might not be the same one, but it could be.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, maybe I'm thinking of something else. She was a witness in the case, referencing the context of Wuronos' trial, but I just don't like. Apparently, she knew something about her behavior and mindset at the time, but I thought she said something about a book deal. I'm like, what did I miss?
The movie producer, yes, she was talking about a movie producer or something, and then mentioned the name Jacqueline Drew, I believe. So I'll I'll look at that tonight and see if that's who it is, or maybe we can watch it together or something, because I'm curious about that now as well. Oh, real quick, Zan had said, and then after trial, she was adopted by another user. Not surprised that Alieen was ready to go. Yep. The judge can make you take meds, said Toxic. Oh, okay. I can't see the bottom of my comments. Now they're gone. She had a point. If she's not a monster, they don't have a movie or a book. Right. They had to paint her into an absolute monster. Toxic said they just did that in the case where the woman stabbed the child and mother in the Walmart parking lot. Oh, goodness. Now it's not loading my comments. Okay, I'm still live because I can hear you. All right.
Yeah, you're still here.
Okay. Hopefully it'll load them in a second.
They had me on Visceral. They had me where I didn't have any commissary, not even a Bible, a book, nothing to read, 24/7 in a square little room with nothing to do but come up and say, do you want your pills to help you go to sleep? And of course I took them to sleep and I got hooked on Visceral. I was taking 2,800 milligrams a week, 16 pills a day, 400 milligrams a day, 16 pills a day. almost killed me. They almost killed me.
But you said detective, what the detectives saying they do that?
I wonder if the medication they had her on had anything to do with her state of mind towards the end. Reese
Is
said
it
the
Vistaril
situation
just
with Jill's-
hydroxyzine?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I've taken it in the Madeline Soto case. It's for allergies, but it calms you down. It's not very, very strong. But
Well, if you're taking 16 pills a day.
yeah, that's not good. Because 25 milligrams, I think it was 25 milligrams I was on would put me to sleep. And I mean, I was, at that time I had a pretty high tolerance. Reese said that situation with gels and what they can do to the mentally ill is straight from the pit. Let's pull a Jackson County inmate list. You will not believe it. Oh goodness. I'll have to look into that sometime. Yeah, y'all are talking about the movie. The movie is really good. Favorite.
It wasn't.
It was a detective's idea because
How do you know that?
I sure didn't ask for it. I didn't ask to be put in medical lockup.
You're
As
saying,
soon as I got done with the cops, they shuffled me over there and did that to me.
you're saying that the detective or Zapa was forcing you to take pills?
It was a plan, I believe.
This was after you made your tape statement, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just like
You weren't on pills when you made your statement, were you?
No, but I was coming off of alcohol, and I was really still shaking and pretty well withdrawing from alcohol, heavy drinking.
Did you see the videotape of yourself?
No,
Yesterday?
I've only seen that.
You only saw that part,
Mm-hmm,
the short part.
mm-hmm. I've never seen the whole video.
Did you see the evidence of yourself shaking? Weren't you lighting cigarettes and smoking and being casual?
If you guys think I was, I wasn't. I was very, very nervous.
I can tell you from seeing people detox off of alcohol, you have to be careful with that, especially drinking like she was. They give you Vistaril for that, or any other type of non-narcotic medication that will calm you down. And you can, those and barbiturates are the ones that alcohol and barbiturates, you can die coming off of it. There's other things too, but those are at the top of my list. Like medically, you have to be really careful trying to detox people off of that stuff because it's very dangerous. And I mean, I question whether they could have even held her deposition against her or as being accurate, considering that she was detoxing off of the alcohol at that point in time. I don't know if you could even use that nowadays like you could back then. Okay, I was just reading your comments real quick. Your body goes into shock. Yes, it does. Absolutely.
And just trying to keep it together as much as I could, but I was shaking and everything. And that's why he gave me his jacket, because I was just shaking like a leaf and it was cold in there, which made it worse.
Well, how many times during these 11 phone calls in 3 days did you even say that your victim had tried to rob you? Or that anyone had tried to rob you?
Your Honor, objection asked and answered several times.
Now, what's that question again?
You never once even said that your victim tried to rob you.
Objection, Your Honor, the terms your victim.
You phrase your question.
You never once said that Mr. Mallory tried to rob you on the telephone, did you?
Why should I? We weren't talking about Mallory. We weren't talking about any incidences. All we were talking about, all I was thinking about, was to clear Ty from being that suspect of the sketches on that TV.
You know, Alieen never was able to talk about herself, in my opinion, and all of the abuse and things that she was enduring out on the road. So I don't think that it was odd that she didn't talk about it either. She was so worried about clearing Ty, that she wasn't concerned about talking about what happened to herself. And at that point, she didn't know the phone calls were being recorded. Ty already said she didn't like to hear about it. So I don't find any of this unusual at all.
Well, what were you thinking about when you were talking about his mistaken identity?
The sketches. In case the tape was rolling, if there was some police officers there, I was protecting her over the phone.
And you even said that you're going to sue law enforcement if you got arrested for this, didn't you? Or sue the county.
Who knows? I was withdrawing from alcohol so bad, I was so confused and so scared about Tyra that I couldn't function properly. I don't know what I was saying. I don't know. I was totally I was in Pluto. Scared out of my wits. Caring about Tyra, loved her to the max. I must have told her 25 times a day, I love you.
You said that you were supporting Tyra or she really wasn't working. Is that what you've been telling the jury?
I've supported her for 3.5 years. The last year she worked. But she made such little money, I had to still work.
Well, didn't you continue to tell detectives that she worked all the time?
No, she didn't work. I meant she worked all the time at Casa Del Mar. That's directly talking about Casa Del Mar when I say that.
Didn't you also say
Excuse me. And I think Ty even admitted that she didn't work much after she got with Alieen because it was easier. I mean, again, it's just like any type of money you get from illegal services. It's easier to make that money than to go work a 9-to-5 job or whatever where you make a lot less. People get addicted to the money. They are lucky she didn't have convulsions from detoxing off the alcohol, right? And that's one of the things that they worry about. That's why they have to be so careful with people detoxing off alcohol. Content said she referred a few times to, quote, getting beaten or shot as an occupational hazard. So she took it as part of her job. It's so sad. Absolutely. And thank you for putting that into such a, easy way to understand. I appreciate it. Alieen was the man of the house. Oh my goodness, Reese, I'm so sorry. Lee was, yeah, I think that's how she saw it.
all she does is go to work, come home, and then go back and go to work?
That's Casa Del Mar. That's Casa Del Mar.
Nope. Don't do it. Okay. That is funny to see them in a skating rink. All them Viking looking opera singers. Goodness gracious.
Oh, is that the J.G. Wentworth commercial?
Yeah. That's why I'm like, don't say it, because then I don't want to get in trouble for it saying, I have a structured settlement and I need cash now.
My husband's singing in the background. He heard me say J.G. Wentworth as you were singing. He was singing it in the background. That's hilarious.
That is funny.
When you spoke to Detective Corzepa and told him what you told Ty, what you told him was that you told her you found a body, but you're just bullshitting her, in your words, because you were real drunk.
I believe that.
Remember saying that?
What I meant was I was saying that there's a lot of times I'd be drunk and I would just bullshit with her. Oh, but that's when I was lying about her. Yeah. Trying to make her sound like she didn't know anything. Yeah, okay, I got you. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what those confessions say either. So.
Hard to keep the story straight, isn't it?
Objection, Your Honor, badgering.
Hard to keep the story straight, isn't it?
No. it's hard to remember what you're talking about. Because I'll tell you right, when you just asked me that question, I don't know what you were talking about as far as what it was about. Like, was I talking on the phone? I didn't know you were reading out of the confession.
Now, the reason you were a prostitute is because you made really good money at it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why most women of the night do that job, is because they make really good money. I don't think you would do that job if you didn't. But that's just, over here, me allegedly speculating.
In fact, the indication was that you went out and sold yourself 6 or 7 days each week.
I went out anywhere from 4 to 7. It varied. There's times I only went out 3 days a week, but it varied. But basically, I went out 4 to 7. I mean, because there's very few times I went out 3 times a week. Mostly, I went out 4 to 7 times a week. Yes.
And you had sex with 3 to 8 guys each time.
Yeah, because it varies. You never know how many you're going to have. You just keep hustling till the day's through.
And you were charging how much per sex act?
30 per head, 35 straight, 40 for half and half, 100 an hour.
Why did we need to know that? I mean, I'm just wondering why we needed to know what she charged. Yes, indie girl, exactly. What a disrespectful interrogation, the way he's wording his questions. Right. Yeah, I don't like this. 1/2 hour of disassociation equals an entire shift at Dollar General. No doubt. I agree with that statement.
You make anywhere between $600 and $1,000 a week.
Well, you're right. And that's where all the money went in bars with Tyra.
You're
Fancy clothes and beer drinking.
You're capable of holding other jobs, aren't you? You've done other work.
I don't have the qualifications for the jobs. I've always been fired and I've never been able to hold a job. The only thing I know how to do is prostitution well. It's the only thing I know how to do.
Well, you get paid more doing that than anything else you've ever done, don't you?
It's good money. It's also the only thing I really know how to do.
Well, you also
Done it all my life.
You also like it, don't you? You like it.
Well, I like the sex, and I like some of the clients I meet become like my brothers, but it's
just that statement right there. I like the smex, and some of the clients I meet become like my brothers. Like, that's giving us insight into how her brain works and how she thinks, because we know what was going on between her and her brother. Like, how would you think if I put myself in that situation, like, I've never been in that situation, thank God, but if I was a lady of the night ever, and I looked at, I got close with clients, and while I didn't really love them, I would say, I would think of it as they're a really good client or a really good friend, not a brother. You know what I mean? Like, that tells me a lot.
It's a job. That's just part of being a prostitute.
Right, but it was kind of a rolling road party, wasn't it?
Your Honor, object relevancy. It's also addressing character.
No, because
I mean, exactly. Relevancy.
you have to watch yourself and be careful, and you've got to, keep a level head on your shoulders. It's a job. It's not exciting, like super exciting. You have to keep a good head on your shoulders and just do your job and hope you don't, run into jerks and stuff.
Well, do you like the sex and you like the money?
Yes, I like the sex and I like the money. Yeah.
And you like the contact with the different men?
Mm-hmm.
And then there came a time that you decided to arm yourself, start carrying a pistol, correct?
Yes.
That's a really dangerous job. I mean, yeah.
It's probably best I
Going-
missed the last 3 minutes. What happened?
He's talking about her job, and like he was like, you know, it's a rolling road trip. It absolutely is not. You have to watch yourself out there because people will, you know, people
Will try to
men
kill
will
her.
take it. Yeah, like it's not a rolling road party. She's got to be very careful and watch her back, and she's the only one who's got her back. So
Oh,
it's
how
not at all.
disrespectful.
Oh, he asked her how much money she made and all of that. Like, I'm just like, why do you need to know what she charged? What does that have to do with anything? Like, I mean, I'm just, and he's like, you like the physical contact. You like basically the smecks. And she's like, yeah, I liked it. And then she stated again that, you know, some of the men she looked at like her brother. And I had an issue with that because it tells me about her mindset. And again, we know what happened between her and her brother. Like I said, if you
I was
know,
going to
if
say
I
she
was
was a
in that,
victim of incest since age 11, so she associated the parts that she enjoyed
Right.
with that. It's a mindfuck for sure.
yeah, like I would, if I've never been in that situation, thank God. But if I put myself in those shoes for a minute and I had certain clients that I had grown attached to or that, you know, were good clients, I would have said like a really close friend, not like a brother. So, it's just, yeah, it's hard. It's going to get triggering. Content said, you guys, Ty would get up and cry. They had no money. Then Lee would go out and work for cash to keep her happy. Yeah.
Right.
You know, most of those smug ass men in that courtroom have visited with a pair of ladies of the evening. Probably. It wouldn't surprise me.
No, you got to put in
Speaking
that
of
stop, bruh.
Yeah. Stop,
Let's say it,
bruh.
stop, bruh.
Stop, bruh. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that some tomorrow with the sheriff and the judge when we talk about that. I've got some interesting updates on that.
And you said there's a reason for that. Tell us again, if you would, the reason you felt
Plainly for
necessary to carry
protection.
system. I'm sorry.
I carried it plainly for protection.
All right, you said that over a period of time, he had tried to rape you or rape you.
I've been raped many a times. And it never worked when I had weapons of other weapons. I never could defend myself. So I finally got a gun where it would be defense.
Well, how many times during the 4.5 years you lived with Ty Moore did you have to defend yourself?
I was raped 3 times. And there was 2 other incidents where I had the gun, but I didn't use it. They just had their fun. They were young guys. I didn't need to hurt them because they didn't use any weapons on me or anything. And the other 3, I had 2 gas guns and a bullfighter, and I got raped and beat up royal on those.
All right, so you say there are 5 times you.
So again, if you remember the time period, I know now it's a little bit, you know, if you were to go to the police now and say that you had gotten assaulted, they would look past the fact that you were a lady of the night and try to help you. But during this time period, she couldn't go to the police and let them know that she had got assaulted. She would have gotten arrested for being a lady of the night. So, you know, what other option did she have but to start arming herself? Hey, Cara. Sarah said, it's funny that these ass clowns are so high on their horses judging people who hustle, but you know they got skeletons in their closets. Easy to judge when you're looking down on others. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cara said, yes, I was hanging with my boys watching Beetlejuice. I have more questions. What? Reese said, I have more questions about the fact she couldn't hold down a regular job. What kind of society doesn't let a woman like this push a broom or stock a shelf? Too blonde, too blue-eyed. Yeah, she didn't have her high school diploma, and that was held against her. She had tried to go into the military, all of that. Darlene said she probably wanted love and affection at one point, but that was not the place to find it unless she found an older man who had affection for her and treated her good. She did at one point, but she was not ready to settle down, and so they got a divorce shortly after they had gotten married. It was the owner of a yacht club in Florida. Hey, Norma, and thank you so much for being here today.
Had to defend yourself with weapons while you were being raped, but didn't have to use a gun.
Yeah, and the two guys that were, one looked like about 22 and the other 27, that's when I had the gun just before Mallory.
Were there any times that you did use a gun to defend yourself from rape?
Objection, Your Honor. Same objection. Don't answer the question.
In the scope of the cross, Your Honor.
Indie Girl, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I had been covering that case from the beginning, but I found some updates, and yeah, there's 2 updates that I found on that. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Adela said she never got a break. Shit luck from day one. And somebody said they can't agree with me. I think it was Cara. Yes, Cara said, I wish I could agree with you, but I still think there is a lot of prejudice against ladies of the night when it comes to law enforcement. There is, but now they'll take your statement and usually try to do something about it, as opposed to this time period where they didn't. Hey, Anne, thank you so much for being here. Abellis is in Canada too. Yeah, they do get beat on, even by men in that profession, or that are what you said.
If you can answer that question.
She asked before.
Right. Before.
State, what?
Well, the question, and I'll maybe try to make sure that's clear. How many times during the 4.5 years you were living with Ty Moore did you have to use a gun on someone to defend yourself?
Objection, same grounds. He asked before, Mallory. We have no objection. Please don't answer the question.
Rephrase your question.
How many times before you killed Mr. Mallory while living with Ty Moore did you have to shoot someone to defend yourself from rape?
I couldn't. I didn't have a vehicle. I didn't have a pistol, a weapon.
But if you had, you'd used it earlier.
I tried with Macenet, and I've got beat up and raped. It didn't work.
If you had done those other times you shot them in.
This is a very dangerous job. I mean, I'm sure we all know that, but I keep referencing that because, I don't know how else you would defend yourself. Darlene said, she didn't know how to accept love. She didn't know what it was like. So sadly, she pushed it away. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ask and answer, John.
Yeah.
She hasn't answered that.
Yes, you overruled. Go ahead.
Well, in the advice of my attorneys, I'm not going to answer that question.
No, she hasn't instructed you not to answer that. Would you have shot men before that if you had a gun earlier?
Well, I'll just answer it like this. Every situation is totally different. I couldn't answer that question.
All right, well, how about just the 5 men you said that raped you before Mallory? Would you have shot them?
I don't know. I don't know. Every incident is totally different.
Well, I guess the question is...
If it's very violent and physical, I'm going to defend myself. Yes, everybody has a right to defend themselves. That's what I did. These were violent rapes, and the other ones I had to beg for my life. I had a double barrel shotgun against my head. I had a .357 Magnum against my head.
When was that?
In the rapes.
Wasn't in any of these other...
I mean, I know she's getting agitated and that's what the prosecutor wants, but I can also tell by her demeanor and looking at her that she's absolutely telling the truth. And again, it's not hard to believe considering her line of work.
Right.
Wasn't it any of the men you killed, though?
Objection, Your Honor. Don't answer the question.
Did you ever kill anyone that had threatened you with a .357 Magnum or a sawed-off or a shotgun to your head?
I couldn't.
Objection, Your Honor. As long as he focuses it on for Mallory, I have no objection. If he doesn't, Lee, don't answer the question.
Okay.
Rephrase that question.
Did you ever kill anyone that threatened you with 357 Magnum?
I
Same
did.
objection, Your Honor.
Tradition time.
Did you ever kill anyone before you killed Mr. Mallory that threatened you with 357 Magnum?
No. I didn't have a gun on me. And I didn't bullfighter and the gas gun. They always got from me and put the weapons on me, making me beg for my life.
Did anyone after you killed Mr. Mallory ever threaten you with a 357 Magnum?
Anybody,
Objection, Your Honor. Same objection.
anyone after?
Don't answer the question.
Your Honor, that has nothing to do with the sixth murder.
Objection, Your Honor. We move for mistrial.
She moved for a mistrial, and I think she had grounds if he's badgering the witness, obviously, but asking her about crimes she hasn't been tried for. They can't do that, and he just overruled that. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I absolutely believe Mallory was self-defense. I absolutely do. Yeah, we're missing Anders, and Eek is missing OP, Rooster. If you guys hear us, we miss you and love you.
Did you ever kill anyone before you killed Mr. Mallory that threatened you with a shotgun?
How could I? He had the shotgun on me.
Is your answer no?
No, yes.
Did you ever, and there may be an objection, so wait until you counsel has an opportunity, did you ever kill anyone after you killed Mr. Mallory that threatened you with a shotgun?
Objection, Your Honor. Same grounds. Lee, don't answer the question.
She's not on trial for those.
Your Honor, maybe we have a hearing outside the presence.
Right. And they keep bringing it up.
He wasn't,
Again,
I mean, they
they're
keep
trying to
push.
irritate her, but
Yeah. I don't think it should have, if the
Yep.
idea was inside of the jury's presence, we are not to talk about the sequence of events that happened after Mallory's murder, then we shouldn't have. Point blank. Done. So they should have never
Right.
let the jury hear all of the rest of this stuff. They totally derailed her defense and any possibility of her getting self-defense based on the one. Should she have been tried separately for the others? Had she gotten self-defense and gotten off on this one? Abso-freaking-lutely. But that is not what she's
Yeah.
on trial for now.
nope. And even though they're not allowed to talk about it, he keeps bringing it up. And now the jury has suspicion or can gather by using contextual clues that she's done other unaliving. So therefore, again, varnishing, not varnishing, but tainting her case for self-defense. Absolutely.
Well, partially, bad girl. He allows it because his eyes aren't open and he can't see over the damn podium.
Yeah, he does
Sorry.
seem rather bored during this trial. He does seem to be sleeping and not paying much attention, but he just overruled. I mean, he keeps overruling a lot of their objections. Some of them he grants, but yeah. Sarah said, Helen said Sarah wouldn't let that ish fly. No, she wouldn't. She'd have been throwing a fit.
Presence of the jury.
Not there.
May I reserve argument, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, you knew it was a crime to prostitute, didn't you?
3 million other women do it too. It's an everyday thing. It's been going on for centuries.
Well,
I mean, that's
Oldest
like asking
profession.
right.
Sorry,
It
go ahead.
is the oldest profession known on earth. It absolutely is. You're 100% right. That's like asking an addict, you know, it's illegal to use drugs, right? Well, yeah, no shit, but you know, I kind of can't help it. Darlene said, I think she asked for the death penalty after she realized how Ty betrayed her. That was the last straw. I think so too, and I've thought that for a while. Yeah, like the last ditch effort to get back at her. Yeah. This illustrates how far our justice system has come, said Content.
Content, I'm going to need you to elaborate on that and why you think that that should be legal. I'm just curious as to your mindset on that.
Why what should be legal?
Why prostitution should be legal.
If you guys have ever watched I think it's called Love Ranch. It's a really good movie. And it's out there. It takes place in Nevada where it's legal. And it's about how they got it legal and all of that.
Right. I was just curious. I mean, it's like the debate on marijuana. Why should it be legal? Why should it be legal everywhere? I'm just curious as to what people think about that. I have my own thoughts, but I love to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. And yeah, I would love to know your thoughts on that as well. Darlene said the lawyer probably has picked up a lady of the night before. He strikes me as the type. He's just irritating me. I can understand your frustration with him, Darlene. Toxic said, Alieen, I think, was naive at this point and she didn't know how to handle this. Yeah, I don't think she knew how to handle being questioned by the prosecution either. Yeah, content. Anybody have an update on Lee's boyfriend Dawn doing? I don't know. Okay. I'll get back to this now.
And I wasn't doing anything out there wrong or mean to anybody. What they did was mean to me. I was very kind, very nice, had a very ladylike attitude. I didn't do anything wrong to them. I didn't even hardly swear. I talked about religion and politics and even talked about trying to save the Lord with some of them. I mean, I talked about Jesus coming soon. And I was very kind. There was no reason to attack me.
You said what they did was mean to you?
What they did to me was violent and mean.
Who are you talking about?
We're here on Richard Mallory, and I'm talking about Richard Mallory right now.
You said they.
I'm not going any further into this.
I would advise you not to go further into that.
I would ask her to go further, Judge. She brought it up. So you think it's okay to violate the law if a lot of other people do?
Everybody does.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Everybody prostitutes, even housewives, and so do the men. They're out there. They're the ones with the money, putting it on the hook, saying to us prostitutes, here we are. If they keep their money in their back pockets, their penis in their pants, they wouldn't be feeding prostitution. They're the ones that feed it. We're just
mic
out
drop.
there making our money.
Simple as that.
Mic drop. Yep.
I like you friendly drug people.
Objection, Your Honor.
There was no harm in it. It was like a date.
I move for a curative, Your Honor.
If I walk in a bar,
You have a motion today?
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
rule on that.
Okay.
if I walk in,
For a mistrial.
Today.
Thank you.
if I walk in a bar and I meet a guy, which I never worked bars, truck stops, CBs, rest areas, street walk, nothing of that. I just strictly hitchhiked and prostitution. Now, if I walked in a bar though, and there was a guy there that I wanted to go to bed with, and we go to bed without money, and to me, that's just like prostitution, adulterous right there too. But here, let's say we go to bed and he offers me money. That's just, and we don't hurt each other. What's the difference? What's the difference? We've agreed upon sex with each other. Only thing is he's giving me a little money to help me and I'm helping him. It's just, what's the difference? It's like friendship. Here's a loan even. I mean, it's just plain friendship. There's nothing wrong with it. We're not hurting anyone.
I could see that because if you think about, interactions at a bar, people just hooking up for one night and she's like, why would I do that and not get paid for it? You know what I mean? So I can definitely understand that. Content. I was trying to see what you were saying, because I know we asked you the question. Eileen's not a dumbass, she's right. The government, okay, so Content said the government needs to get the F out of our bedrooms. I'll tell you something funny, and I think I've said it before, but in North Carolina, it's illegal to give a BJ. Like, it's illegal, and I heard that when I was a teenager or something, like in high school, and I was like, how exactly are you going to capture and prosecute somebody for that? Can you please tell me? Yeah, she's got a good point. She does got a good point.
Helen is killing me.
Helen is funny. Rubber Ramada, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Rubber said I had to renew. Well, thank you for doing that, honey. Yeah, Helen is killing me. She's funny.
She asked what state we were in, and she said Kim Young Boon.
Kim Young Boo, that's funny.
And she said that she has the haircut, the Kim Young Boon haircut.
She does though. Sarah Boone does. Yeah, she does.
Sorry, it was just funny.
No, you're good.
I keep like off into the left field, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the family, Rubber Room.
Yeah. Thank you. It's 5 o'clock here and we're at 49 minutes. So I'm going to try to get through at least to an hour and then I'll probably have to stop for the day, but we're going to continue on. I mean, we're really going to be deep diving this.
Anybody. We weren't hurting anybody. They're hurting us.
So you think you have a right to disregard the law if you disagree with it?
Well, I'll tell you, it's the only thing I could do anyway. That was my job. I wasn't hurting anybody out there.
Well, that's not true, is it?
I wasn't hurting anybody out there. I'm the victim, as far as I'm concerned. He had no reason to rape me. He had no reason to do what he did to me. I didn't provoke him in any way.
You didn't hurt anyone out there, is what you said. Is that
No.
correct?
Never.
He keeps trying to get her to talk about the other cases, like keeps trying to provoke her. And just in case anybody wasn't here yesterday, we talked about Mallory and how brutal he was. And he was known to be into kinky things and kind of mean. And he had already done time. He had done like 10 years for hurting a woman before. I don't know. It might have been. Yeah, I don't know. He's trying to definitely provoke her.
They hurt me.
Who hurt you? Who's
I'm
that?
talking about the earlier rapes and everything. I didn't have a gun. I couldn't defend myself. If I tried to defend myself, I came close to death so many times. I had to beg for my life. I had to carry a gun for protection. It's the only thing I knew what to do. As far as work, I've done it all my life, and it's the only thing I could do. But now the years are getting further into a very high-rise crime.
I didn't ask you a question. I'll ask you in just a moment.
Further into other.
Oh, we got another commercial. I don't know why they're hitting the commercial. No, don't you do it. Yeah, his tone is irritating me too, and he keeps trying so hard to get her to admit to the other unalivings, and she's not on trial for this. It's really evident what he's trying to do to her. I have so many comments and keeping them to myself. You don't have to hear Rubber if you're talking about this case, because I try to be open so that I try to be a very open chat so that we can hear everybody's thoughts and opinions, because it makes us grow as a community for sure.
Aw, Lisa says, I've got to go. It's our
Well,
wedding
here for-
anniversary with one left in the nest till fall. 3 in college. We're celebrating. Thank you, Lisa, for coming.
Aw.
Come back anytime.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. I hope
And
you have a good wedding
congratulations on your wedding anniversary. Yeah.
That's so sweet. I'm so happy for you. Toxic said, this guy's got a superiority complex. Nose so high in the air, he think his poop don't stink. Yep. Absolutely. Oh, okay. Sounds like a closet misogynist in my opinion, said Helen. Thank you for dropping by, Lisa.
The Richard Mallory case.
Well, I'm only trying to ask you is why you killed 6 other men. Was it the same reason?
I'm here for one trial. I'm here for first-degree murder, 1 count in this county.
Your Honor, I'd ask that you instruct the jury. And Lee, I would ask that you not answer the questions.
So the prosecution just said, I wonder why you killed 6 other men. It should have been a mistrial right then and there, in my opinion. And I don't understand how it wasn't, because now, I mean, even though you're asking the jury to strike that, they're going to hold it against her regardless. It's in their mind now.
Yeah, they couldn't have shaken that out. Yeah.
Right.
Isn't it a fact that you had a pattern of hitchhiking the highways and selecting middle-aged men above 35, 37, on up into their 60s?
No. I dated guys from anywhere from 28 and up. And in my confession, if it says older, I just, like I say, I wasn't in my right mind where I could stop and rationalize to think what some of the things I wanted to say, because my mind was doing 100 things and 100.
And isn't it true that you generally contacted these men along the major thoroughfares and interstate highways of the state of Florida?
Pardon?
You generally contacted these men on the interstate highways or the major highways of the state.
I mean, we know that because she's already admitted to that. And I know how she feels about her mind going 1,000 miles per second. I think we all have felt like that.
Toxic makes a very, very valid point. So if we remember the time period that this was, she's being used and made as an example out of her, because she wouldn't have gotten a fair trial anyway. They didn't know how to deal with all this stuff. They didn't know how to deal with the woman who was doing all of these things. In my opinion, it's all brand new at that time.
Yep. And thank you both for pointing that out. Toxic had said, well, she was being used as an example. This is why all this crap was done and she didn't get a fair trial. Yep. And thank you both. You both have some really good points with that, and I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. It's a very valid point.
I hitchhiked and prostitute. That's what I did.
Primarily out of
Hitchhiked and prostitute.
Primarily out of the Daytona Beach area, the Central Florida area.
I've worked the whole Florida state. I-10, I-95, I-75, I-27, 50, 41, 44, anywhere. A whole Florida state.
And it was your pattern, was it not to tell them that you were a prostitute so that you could make money?
No, because a lot of times I got in a car and they asked me if I was dating. I mean, if I want to date. They propositioned me many a times. A lot of the guys pulled over was strictly for sex. It wasn't like giving a girl a ride to the next exit. It was strictly to pick me up for a date. They knew I was out there for a date. I'm sure every other girl that's hitchhiking out there gets propositioned by a guy. As soon as they get picked up, I bet you they get propositioned by a guy. Because most of the times I didn't have to ask them, they asked me.
And we know that that's true because, I mean, of the dangers of hitchhiking, you could get assaulted, you could be, taken out, all of those things.
Well, you heard Bobby Gopus talk about you asking him.
He didn't pick me up. I don't even know him. And I think furthermore that Jackie Giroux knows him, that he called her up about something about a movie, and he is bold-facedly lying up here just to get some media attention, because I've never seen the man in my life.
So there's that Jackie Drew or Druno. It's not the Jackie Davis that's on the page, but we can definitely see if it's the same person. And she's again talking about a movie deal. So I do believe that's who that Jackie reference was, Zayo. Cara said, I said the same thing yesterday or the day before. She's being made an example of because women are supposed to be able to unalive men. Yes, Cara, sorry. Zayo said they argued that her trial was unfair and that she did not receive adequate representation. I think her representation is good, but the prosecution is I mean, they're fudging the case. It should have been declared a mistrial. The jury should not have known there were 6 other victims.
Yeah, that was just in reference to her appeal.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Anna was asking about her appeals. They were all denied based on, there were a lot of circumstances that they based it on, but yeah, that was the.
Yeah. And then Cara said, and we have Alieen here who not only unalived 1 but 6, and she's being used as an example. Yep. Because again, like Zayo had said in Toxic, she's the first woman serial unaliver that we've ever seen at this time, or modern history that we had seen. So yeah, she was definitely made an example of. Kangaroo Court said Helen Zio said she weighed further appeals in 2002 on her own. I think the judge already made up his mind in this case, said Cara. Toxic said she'd given up at that point. Yep.
I wouldn't, plus I don't go to truck stops. And I don't ride with truckers.
You denied that you went over to him and asked for a ride, saying you need to get back to your children, where your sister was?
You guess what? My sister, I haven't called her for 10 minutes, 1986. I haven't seen her since 1976.
I'm not suggesting you told the truth. I'm asking, is that what you told him?
No, I didn't see the man. I don't know who he is. I never seen him. I didn't tell him nothing because I've never been in his car. I don't know him. I've never seen him. Plus, I don't think I deal with somebody that fat anyway.
Oh,
He's too big of a guy, and I don't deal in truck stops.
Oh, you're not.
Well, that was blunt. I mean, but again, we can see her frustration, that she's getting frustrated at this point.
The one that hollered after him.
He's too big of a guy. I wouldn't have trusted being with him.
Not the one that you hollered after him. Fat old son of a bitch, I'll kill you too, like I did the others.
Yeah, I did not. He never picked me up. I'd never, especially a truck stop. I don't work truck stops. I don't walk in truck stops. I think truckers are too dirty.
Your testimony is then he just lied, right?
He's lying. Yes, he is.
I believe that people came out of the woodwork when they heard about this case.
And you say because he wants to make money in a movie or something?
I'll tell you how much I think he's lying. He says I had a purse. The police officers got my purse, the brown one. My gun does not fit that purse. You can check it.
You generally carried your gun in a little bag, didn't you?
I carried my gun in a tote bag.
And
He says a purse.
You even
Doesn't
practiced
fit
with that.
the purse.
You even practiced with that. See how fast you can get it out. Kind of a quick draw practice.
Oh, yes. I doubt that. No.
Oh,
No,
you
never.
didn't?
Never happened.
You ever tell anyone that?
What do you mean? It never even happened. I never did that in my life.
Never.
When I get home, I'm too tired. I just set the bag down or in the closet and go to sleep.
You never practiced getting it out fast so you shoot fast.
No, of course not. And I think you made that up.
But even if she had, she's going to have to be able to pull it out fast if she's working and somebody tries to attack her. Oh, that was so nice, Toxic. Yay, Banshee. Yeah, get it right, tote bag. Right, Sarah.
That up royal.
You know Dr. McMahon?
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
No, objection overruled.
You know Dr. McMahon?
Yes.
Your Honor, I believe you ruled on this prior to
No,
the question.
but I don't know what the question is. You better go to the bench.
Do you know it's against the law to carry a concealed firearm, don't you?
Yes.
And
But I took that risk because I had to use protection.
you also
And
know,
also,
pardon me,
if I wasn't a convicted felon, I would have bought a gun and carried it. But since the law won't let us felons, once we get out of prison, protect ourselves with a weapon, they just say, go ahead and get killed. We don't care. We have to just go, forget the law and carry it anyway. Because there's a lot of people that have been going convicted felons coming out of prison, and they're just as decent people as can be, yet you say we can't carry a weapon. We've got to protect ourselves. There has to be a way to protect ourselves.
so
We can't use our hands.
you're even a victim of the law.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Not what
Really,
she said.
dude?
That's
Yeah.
not what she said.
Right. You can see how frustrated she is right now. And again, that's intentional. But you know, everybody has their thoughts on that. I do. I mean, especially working that line of work, you've got to be able to protect yourself. So yeah, she went behind the law and carried a gun. I don't find it peculiar at all. And I don't think she should. I mean, she had to do what she had to do.
You're even a victim of the law.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you just said because of the law.
Oh. All right, we can't use our hands, is what I'm saying. We have to have a weapon. Were you trying to tell us us convicted felons cannot defend ourselves? We have to have a way to defend ourselves.
And I mean, again, she stated that she had tried several different things. She had tried mace. She had tried, I think she said a gas gun or something. Like, I don't know if she's referring to mace and that, but she had tried several different ways as well. And she said nothing worked otherwise. I mean, again, and in this case, I do believe 100% this was self-defense.
They think that all convicted felons should go out and carry guns.
Objection, Your Honor.
Well,
That's what you're saying?
say I didn't hear what you
So
said.
you think the convicted felons should be allowed to carry guns?
Because a lot of them do turn into the Lord, and a lot of them are very decent people and very straightforward people. So they broke the law. Everybody breaks the law, and I bet you do too. Matter of fact, you drive a car and pollute the earth.
And some of them shoot men to death in cold blood, don't they?
Objection, Your Honor.
She said, matter of fact, you drive a car and pollute the earth. I think, yeah, I don't know.
Everybody breaks the law, and I'll bet you do too.
Yeah. Everybody does, though. She's right. But yeah, Abella said, what's he trying to get at? It, you know, with some of the things she says, I don't know if she's just being coy, or if we're starting to see, like, if it, okay, so we know how she was later in life, after seeing the, you know, after prison, right before she died, how she was. And I'm wondering if she's showing early signs of that, like being kind of spacey and talking about things that are tinfoil hattish. I don't know if she's being coy with some of the things she says, or if we're already seeing signs of that. And I'm trying to kind of figure that out by listening. And I was thinking, you know, well, I'll wait. We got a couple more minutes of this, and then I'll tell you the rest.
Some of them shoot men to death in cold blood, don't they?
No, they don't. I didn't shoot anybody in cold blood. Although I would have been out there decaying instead.
You've never shot anyone in cold blood?
That's right.
Objection, Your Honor.
I don't have the heart to shoot somebody in cold blood.
Did you ever shoot a man in the back of the head because he was
Objection,
gurgling?
Your
I mean, again, he's referencing these other cases. This should have been declared a mistrial way before now, and it's even getting worse.
Honor.
I'm not going to answer that question, and it does not bear with this case. Different circumstances to different reasons and circumstances, and I don't need to answer that. It has nothing to do with Richard Miller.
Would you like to answer it?
No, I'm not going to.
Lee, I'm instructing you not to answer any questions about anything other than Richard Mauer. I'm asking you not to talk about it.
Well, maybe council would like to get up and
Objection.
Your Honor, can I have permission to talk now that Mr. DeWar has spoken?
No, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
I mean, they're defending her. Let them defend.
Okay, go ahead, business.
Thanks, Judge.
Go get me some tape.
Now,
I rather than you leave the courtroom, we have someone, Captain Massey, in the hall that can attend to that task. I want to thank you, Mr. Bennett, who made a turn to see Captain Massey, we attend to that one.
I cannot understand what he is saying.
Is you're moving
wouldn't get it.
somebody.
Yeah, to the hallway. I caught that, but I can't understand the rest of what they're saying. I
Does
wonder who
this
they're
not
removing.
remind you? I don't know. I didn't hear. Does this not? I don't. For some reason, looking at the judge and the way that they were questioning her and stuff, it reminds me of the Mad Hatter.
Really?
Alice Adventures in Wonderland. It reminds me of the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down because I think we'll talk about that tomorrow since we're like 12 hours in. But I definitely want to compare that because I have like 1,000 different reasons. I think just reminds me of the Mad Hatter.
Yeah. Toxic said this judge is out to lunch himself. He doesn't care a bit. Nope. I'm gonna try to see who they're moving to the hallway, and then we'll stop with this for the day.
You told this jury, when Ms. Jenkins was examining you, that Mr. Mallory solicited you for sex?
No. When we got to Quail Run, he asked me how I know so much about married people. He said, I thought you were single. You told me you had a roommate. And I said, well, I guess it's time for me to be honest and tell you that I hustle for a living. That's why I know married people, because 98% of my people are married that I meet.
You propositioned him then?
He asked me my prices. He said, well, you mean sex? And I said, I laughed, and I said, yes, sex. He said, well, how much do you charge? And it carried on from there.
All right. I'm going to stop it right there for the day. Because I do have to go cook dinner.
Redacted! You made it! You'll just have to watch. You have to go back and watch some of the replay. But I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here too. I am about to end the stream, unfortunately, but please go back, and watch the replay. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about some other things, some other new information, new to me information that has been dropped. I haven't, so I'll let you know exactly. It's going to be about Sebastian Rogers and the judge and the sheriff. And then Monday, we'll get back on this. Also, next week, sometime, I'm going to do Paul Flores again. I know Duchess just did it, and she's got another stream out. And since we've been doing Alieen and deep diving this, I was going to give it a few days and then bring it back up just to kind of keep them out there and kind of fresh out on everybody's minds. Zio, please go subscribe to her channel. She's been putting out all the Sarah Boone content. Her channel is growing, and I'm so proud of her. And I thank you so much for coming up here with me today and hanging out. I like this dual stream thing. I think it's really cool. So we should definitely do it more.
I definitely will. I'm only going to hang out long enough for you to go through your outro. Then I'm outies. Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Keep quiet here.
Oh, you're good. And thank you all for being here. Zan, I agree. Saying 6 unalivings was definitely grounds for a mistrial, right? And you, regardless of whether you told the jury to strike it or not, it's in their head. You've already tainted the trial, in my opinion. The jurors just heard, like you said, of 6 unalivings. It was good to meet you, Anne. And I know Zio feels the same. Yes, this is great content, and I'm so glad to have you all here. I really look forward to speaking to you guys and hanging out with you every day. It makes me so happy. I love the time we spend together. And with that, I hope that y'all have the best day ever. I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. And we will be switching it up, like I said, and then we'll come back to Alieen. So, have the best night ever. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should know.